The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Oh yeah. Guns up.
Let's go.
Damn you, man. Stop it. You can't ruin that one.
I unmuted in time this time.
You were way early on the unmuting, but
how do you
it's
know?
Our flagship phrase.
I know, but how do you know that I'm like, can you see what I'm doing?
I can see whether your mic is muted or unmuted on my screen.
I need to get Aura.
Just like you should be able to see.
I need to put Aura on this computer and not my other computer so that you can't see what I'm doing all the time.
I don't think it works that way. Guns up, giddy up. Welcome to the Failure to Stop Black Friday special, right? That's what today is, right?
Sounds racist.
I was going to say, I feel awkward saying that. I mean, is that insinuating that only certain races go shopping today? I don't know. I don't know the rules of political correctness. Sometimes I don't know where the boundaries are at, and I think I cross them.
Yeah, we don't have Kay Dean here, so I can't ask her.
Yeah, we lost our token black friend, so that's out. We can't use that as an excuse.
Nope.
But we do have a woman coming on the show today, so we've expanded our gender equality again. I think.
Check that block.
Check that box. If you are tuning in, maybe for the first time, or you're coming on live, or you're tuning in your audio device later this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now, and you're like, what are these yahoos talking about? Well, today we're going to have Officer Ashley. Season 6 has recently dropped on Netflix of 60 Days In. So if you've been a fan of that show, like I have, I've watched, I think, all the seasons. I haven't really kept up, but in terms of like, I don't have like posters of the different people who have been in 60 Days In my room or anything. I'm not that big of a fan, but I did watch every episode of season 6, particularly when I walked into the room and I saw a chick cop crying on TV, and I said, "Who the heck is this?" And my daughter introduced me to Officer Ashley, so I've been invested emotionally into this whole thing ever since then. So we'll have Ashley on here in just a couple minutes. If you want to support the show, failuretostop.com, buy some merch, Wolfpack, let's go. But we are also brought to you by our flagship sponsor, Ghostbed. Tansey, tell them what it is, baby.
Ghostbed, baby. Ghostbed.com. Ghostbed's been a loyal sponsor of the Drinking Bros for 5 years. We're part of the Drinking Bros network. We absolutely love Ghostbed. They took a huge leap joining us and coming on with us, so we're always appreciative of it. My favorite part, I know Mike's favorite part about Ghostbed is that it's made in the good old USA. USA. USA? Nope.
If he dies, he dies.
Is my microphone muted on this one? Or
nope, I just left you out there alone.
But today, this week, this ad read actually changes. So this is just an extra bonus for Black Friday, Cyber Monday week. It runs through 11:30, but you can get the site-wide 30% off and then you also get the now through Cyber Monday, Ghostbed is offering a free weighted blanket with any purchase of $1,000 or more. And that's with a $289 value.
I
So
love
it'll
my weighted
automatically apply to your cart once you use that promo code Drinking Bros. But every mattress has a 20-year warranty. You can try it out for 101 nights, not 98, not 99, but 101. If you don't like it, you can easily send it back. No hard feelings, but you won't. One of our favorite parts about GhostBed is that each mattress has cooling technology in it. So if you get hot at night, you can still stay cool, baby.
I get hot at night.
Stay hard while staying cool. That's my motto. GhostBed offers bundles, so you can get everything that you need. You don't even have to think about it. Choose from their 4 mattresses and pick your bundle. Whether you just need a mattress and a frame or you want it all, I want it all. I want it all. Why are you leaving me behind on all these ad reads today? What is wrong with you? You hungover? Are you hungover today?
Nope. It's a domino effect. Once you refused to do our intro, I refused to help.
I did the intro right this time.
No,
I
you did not.
my computer. I was on it.
First of all, I always say guns up and then you say giddy up, which is fine if we reverse that because I actually say giddy up all the time in my daily life. But you just need to figure this out.
Well, I'll take some time off and think about it. I'll take Black Friday off.
I need to suspend you from the show for 2 weeks. You learn your lesson. You need to take a 2-show rip.
Lebron me. You can get the
get out of here. You've offended me.
Right now, GhostBed is offering a flash sale. 40% off GhostBed bundles where you get the mattress and the adjustable base. If you use that code Drinkin' Bros, DRINKIN Bros at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros, 30% off everything. $35 a month, 0 down, 0% financing. That's if you have Lázaro Lopez credit. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. You get that adjustable base, get the 15 massage modes, the 0 gravity. It's way less than your competition. And look, guys, if you want some testimonials of GhostBed, literally go to our reviews on iTunes because our fans are so damn loyal that they actually mention our sponsors in our iTunes, in our iTunes reviews. I think that's the funniest thing ever. So we have the best fans of all time. The Wolfpack is great.
The Wolfpack is amazing. So what did you do? What did you do Thanksgiving wise?
Well, I'm in Charlotte right now. I'm in the lake house, so you'll probably hear some children. There's 22 people
that's a little
here.
Low-key humble brag, huh?
Yeah, a little humble brag there. There's 22.
I'm at the lake house.
Yeah, I'm having caviar and coffee out of a nice ceramic mug. There actually is like a mahogany bookshelf behind me, which is dope.
I have many leather-bound books.
Many leather-bound books behind me.
Smell
you'll probably hear.
Mahogany.
Like they literally just went for a family walk for an hour, and I was like telling Mike that this
is that another nice way to say your family left you again?
No, I made them. I was like, look, I have to do this show, and there's no way I can do it with all of you downstairs. So and the cousins, they're all crazy, they're all wild. So I'm sure at some point in the show they'll be like walking behind the cameras to be funny or something stupid. They told me last night. Now they did have a little bit of wine in them, but they were like, "There's nothing you can say or do." No, these are the cousins. We're all of age.
Don't let your boys drink a bunch of wine and go skateboarding now.
Actually, they're going down later today. We're going to Donut Operators skate shop. It's
5-0 skate shop.
Yeah, 5-0. We're gonna go check it out and probably maybe grab a deck or two.
Nice.
See what's up down there.
That's what it's gonna take to get his attention, huh?
Whatever it takes.
Go to a skate shop.
Yeah.
Oh, Donut. Good old Donut. Hey, we actually celebrated. Our family did our big meal on Wednesday night just because now our kids are all grown and with spouses of their own and they're all going off in different directions on the holidays. So we actually just do our deal Wednesday night. So I got to sleep in and I think I watched Django Unchained again for like the 8th time and then went to my in-laws for dessert and a little in-law side family hangout last night. And yeah, it's a pretty chill day. And then, of course, I was camping out at Best Buy so that I could get the latest deals on whatever gadget I wanted to get for Christmas. So I've been in a tent all morning outside of Best Buy. I made it in. Got some good deals.
Did you really?
I didn't sleep. No, of course I would never do something like that. It's so stupid. And if you have ever waited out in line for stuff on Black Friday, you're an idiot. And if you're listening and you've ever done that, you're also a complete moron. But continue to listen to the show, please. We appreciate the support.
God. They're like literally Black Friday shopping right now.
Somebody's they're watching on their device right now. They're like, "Screw you, man. Fine, I won't like the stream. I won't go do a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts to help the show grow. I won't do it now."
Yeah, leave a
Hopefully
review
they're not
today.
mad enough to just turn the whole thing off, but you know.
It's really funny right now in the chats. Somebody's saying Tansey is doing it for 22. That's Nico the Greco. So it's really funny. Nico's at Last Row Lopez and I have a running joke that I always say like 22 is a weak number. I want to see that number go to 23 only because of all the people that did 22 push-ups. Now they have to do 23 and like it would just throw everything off. Now everybody has the shirts that say like 22 a day. Then I'll have to get 23 a day.
Change it up.
Start all over and make a whole bunch of other people rich off of like bringing awareness to push it.
I'm going to start mission 1,000. 1,000 push-ups a day for all those in need.
Yeah. Do 1,000 push-ups to end diabetes.
Race for the cure. I don't know.
Rabies
Time to
awareness.
carbo load.
Love a good Office reference.
Oh, man. Oh, hey, you guys just doubled up on, you just tripled down on our racism. We were already making racist jokes about Black Friday. Now you had to put that on the screen. Jimmy had to say it privately. You have to promote it. You're going to get us banned.
I don't even know what it says.
I don't know. Something about African American Friday shopping. That's probably crosses a line. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah. I loved waking up on Thanksgiving. Sorry, I was watching the news. And this woman pastor from San Francisco.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. That one, that chick pastor.
No, this is actually a white lady, and in San Francisco, and I mean you're not going to believe this. Going totally against a stereotypical San Francisco female pastor, but she got on the news and was talking about how Thanksgiving should be a day of mourning and remembrance of those who were brutalized by white men coming to this country. So rather than being thankful, it should be looked at and reviewed as a day of mourning. So of course I went ham on our social media, posting lots of pictures of paintings of the first Thanksgiving. And,
that's what you did with your time.
Yeah. I just thought it was really funny. So it's really sad that that's where we've gotten in this country, but you know what? I'm thankful that whatever happened back then happened, because if it didn't, all of us wouldn't be here today, and that would be sad.
It would be sad. We wouldn't know each other.
France or Spain or England or
Amber changed her username.
No.
What? Amber,
pro bono producer.
Good for you, Amber. Well played. Well played, Amber.
Good job. She's not even wearing our shirt in her profile pic. What the heck, dude? It's not cool.
What do we got going on? Is Scott still around on the holidays?
Let's bring on Ashley. It's about time we got her on the show, I guess. Let's bring her in here.
Is Ashley here?
To our third host. What's up, Ashley?
Hi.
Oh, all right. Now we have your name. So, are you gonna try to twerk so that we know that your username is actually accurate?
No, I'd rather die, but thank you for asking.
So why do you choose this nickname, username that evokes a desire for a challenge?
So here's what happened. I was in jail, and
so there I was in jail.
So
I decided
I was in jail with all of my best friends, and for some reason, like whenever the guys would walk past the so we had our pod here, the ladies pod here, and the men's pod here, and there was like a vestibule in between. And the girls could see the guys could see the girls, and they'd try to get up on the windows, and like the girls would be nasty towards the gentlemen. And I was making fun of one of the girls. This is like the honestly top 10 most embarrassing moments of my life. I was making fun of one of the girls. So I was doing the Bob's Burgers arch back thing.
Yes.
That Tina did, and that made it on to the final edit of the show for approximately 20 seconds. It's just me standing there arching my back with gloves on doing my trustee stuff, and I got so many hate comments on Twitter about that, like Ashley's just trying to appropriate. Ashley can't dance, and I'm like, no, I can't. It's not a secret. So I thought it was funny, and that's what I made my Instagram handle.
You made your Instagram from jail?
No, but I could have. There were cell phones everywhere.
Oh my gosh, we got to get into that. I told Ashley that she's going to be like our third host for the day as we go through the news and the Wolfpack update. So I don't know where we're going to start. Scott Rogers got pranked. I don't know which How many videos did you pull up? 3. I sent you 4. There was
You only sent me 3. Go look at our text. There's only 3.
Elijah, 3 videos. Oh. Okay, yeah, you're right.
That's why you're underpaid, producer.
Play the one where he's got hair, because he got a new haircut too. So play the one where he got hair.
Wolfpack, hashtag, fantasy, bully.
The Wolfpack's supposed to be hashtagging something. Fancy bully.
Hashtag fancy bully. That was it. Like, that's how incredible this guy is that like he can make a TikTok less than 7 seconds.
Elijah, I'm sending you a couple more.
I okay.
We have to put these up. I mean,
I have
these are
to
critical.
re-export them when you send them, just so you know.
Ah, crap, man.
So
I don't
it's
know.
not. I can't put
All
it
right,
in there.
play the next one. I don't even know. I don't remember what order I sent these in. So they just like came out. I have no idea what's happening.
You
right
don't
now.
remember which? Okay.
Well, I remember what videos I picked. I just don't know what order they're showing up.
Hello, everyone.
Oh shit!
I'm the new president. If you have a problem with it, contact Fantasy Bully. He'll tell you.
Fantasy bully. So Scott Rogers is now the president of the Wolfpack. So everyone watching that you consider yourself a loyal listener, we'd like to present our new president, Scott Rogers.
He's not fucking around either. He shaved his head.
He is taking the
bald,
position so
ready to
seriously,
go.
and I don't know what to do besides commend him. I appreciate the effort that he's putting into this. All right, what's the next one?
I'm trying to render out the other one she sent. So sorry.
Wolfpack in Lisbon, Ohio. Help out my friend with some gas.
Oh my god.
The Wolfpack has been searching for the friend for 24 hours. We're not sure who yet.
I'm trying to add the other one.
He should call Joe Biden, help him out with some gas. See that? Where he like ripped the longest fart. It's like if you type in like Joe Biden fart, like all the UK news is like in Scotland and everything, like all the headlines are like American president, like long. She titled it the longest and loudest. Like I want to, yeah, go Google it right now. Longest and loudest fart, and like she's like going into great detail. She was like, "Yeah, the president just like walked over to me. We were in the banquet hall, and he let out the longest and loudest fart. It was foul, like dude, and like they have completely kept it under wraps here in America. I heard,
But across the pond, it's all the headlines.
It's all the headlines that he ripped the longest and loudest fart. So maybe we make a shirt that says like longest and loudest or something like that. I don't know, but there's something there. This guy is amazing. It's going to be sad to see him go. I thought when Trump left office, we were all screwed, and because we're not going to have any memes, or the Twitter's going to get super
we got
boring.
plenty of memes.
But this guy is he's just as good.
Politicians will always be meme worthy.
I've got the other two.
All right, let's see let's see what else he has to say. There's a very important one.
Wolfpack, hashtag, fantasy, bully.
What? Okay, guess that's the same one.
Is there any fair hope Wolfpack here? I need you. I'm headed to the Fair Hope, so rescue my stepmother. Need y'all's back. Tell you where we need you. Me and my dad. Over and out.
Whoa.
He's on a rescue mission. I told you. Our loyal president of the Wolfpack is on a rescue mission in Fairhope. So if any of you are near Fairhope, wherever that's at, Scott needs you, him and his dad.
Listen, I get in, like he goes live on on TikTok all the time, and I get on there and I drop some comments, but I don't see any of our Wolfpack in there. So you guys need to be following Scott on TikTok, and you never know, you might catch me in one of his live chats.
I've commented a couple things, but I haven't gotten his attention yet. All right, what's the last one? Because
I think this is it. I hope.
It is.
Okay.
If it was what you were just playing.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hugh G reaction. Here's a shout out.
He always does shout outs, and someone got him on the old. My last name is Rection. Hugh G Rection.
I wish he could get on Cameo. If he was on Cameo, then I would, for your birthday, get him to call you and wish you a happy birthday.
Did you see that I got the Island Boys to do one for Daniels?
I did. I saw it was hilarious, by the way. I think Officer.
Boy, you ain't
Yeah,
got no muscles in.
I think he really enjoyed
you a cop, man. Yeah, I'm sure he did. All right, what reviews of the show do we got?
There's actually something that Jimmy sent in.
What?
Hold on. It's this that somebody commented
Fire
on.
EMS 38. Can failure to start get a shout out? We are a podcast group of public safety officials. We all follow you Friday. Failure to start. All right, there's your shout out. Failure to start.
Your padcasters.
We started a podcast. What's our reviews? We got to make. Ashley, can you see the screen? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Ashley,
cool.
are you a hose ho by chance?
Am I a what?
A hose ho by chance?
No, I'm married to a cop. Oh. I'm a statistic, not a.
So
she's a
badge.
She's a holster sniffer.
A holster sniffer. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
All right, Ashley. What's the review?
5 stars. Enjoy the show. These guys nail the sentiment of most of the folks I work with. The conversations they have are about the same as conversations we have sitting around in the patrol room. Ghost stories, trash talk, conspiracy theories, and I don't see anything after that.
Good job.
Is that it?
No, I screenshotted the whole thing. That's it. I just like throwing in
these cliffhangers.
I like throwing in ones that just end abruptly. It's just funny to me. Okay.
That was Jody. Yeah, that Jody. 5 stars. I like ice cream. Just saying.
When the fuck did we get ice cream?
All right, this one's.
We haven't even had any ice cream.
This one's
on the
glorious.
Show.
Oh gosh. President of the Mobile, Alabama Wolf Pack, 5 stars. As the most popular president ever elected to the Wolf Pack by the safest and most secure election in Mobile, Alabama history, I am honored that you support my VP, Scott Rogers. Bringing his issues to a national stage will benefit our life's work to help Scott reverse his vasectomy and procreate to build up the Lord's army.
Wolfpack. He's the president now, though. It's that comment is that review is a little delayed. So, man, one day
we can't have a president that's shooting blanks. So we need to get that vasectomy reversed.
Yeah, we got to get that reversed. I thought he was going to move to Canada for a hot minute, but I think we still need him here stateside.
I don't know.
We need this guy.
Ice cream.
We need to get this guy slinging Alec Baldwin's again.
Something. I don't know what needs to happen. All right, we got a couple of major things happening this week in the news. The first thing is Lebron. He can dish it, but he cannot take it. He can absolutely dish it, but he demonstrated this week that he is incapable of handling criticism when it counts. He wants to mock other people constantly. Do you guys remember when the officer in it was Columbus, Ohio. Officer, he gets called and the 2 chicks are fighting each other. The one has a knife and he had to shoot like she's a 15 or 16-year-old girl or something. And LeBron posted on his Twitter a photo of him and said, "You're next." Right? Like,
I remember that.
LeBron can do that. He can go on Twitter and hide behind a keyboard like the infantile basketball player that he is and put a picture of a cop, try to get attention on who that cop is, because of course that leads to people doxing, that leads to people protesting outside his house. He's got to, hide from everyone because his life is now being threatened because LeBron can dish it. But then when a fan of, well, maybe not a fan.
It was a Pacers fan.
When the opposite team shows up and holds a meme of you in the crowd, you can't handle it. You literally cannot handle anyone criticizing you. And supposedly, people are saying, "Oh, she said that she wished death upon his family." So what? Go shoot your baskets, man. Stop playing around.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen this in the history of sports, right? Where an athlete stops the game, grabs the ref like a tattletaling little bitch and goes, "These two right here, they're out of here. I'm not playing until they're out of here." And then like the fact that like everybody caters to this guy like that, and they're like, "Oh yes, okay, King James, we'll remove them." If this does,
Yeah,
not
what right
fuel,
does he have to demand the removal of people from a game? I don't.
Well, I mean, he's
understand.
backed by
Maybe they
China.
have-
He has an entire Chinese army to back him up.
Yeah, a bunch of 6-year-olds come out with tennis shoes in their hands with their sewing needles and freaking like start kicking people out. I'm sure he brings his shoemakers stateside so that they can make a livable wage, right?
If this doesn't spark a trend where people now buy tickets to go to the game just to heckle LeBron James, then I don't feel like we deserve to be in this sim world right now, because that is the perfect opportunity. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Like, I hate basketball. Never watched a game of basketball in my life. I'm
not impressed by the sport of basketball.
Trying to find tickets so that I can go to a LeBron James just so I can talk shit.
This photo that
Ashley probably likes LeBron. I feel like you went to basketball camp in 7th grade.
I am 5'1", so I would have been just. I did try out for basketball in 8th grade.
See, I knew it.
Man, I thought it was so cool.
Because you went to camp in 7th grade.
That's where my journey of like wearing my heart on my sleeve and crying began. Was when I was cut from the 8th grade basketball team and had no future opportunity.
That's
Meanwhile,
when your inability to control your emotions.
Have you
My
seen the
husband plays
TikTok?
basketball.
Have you seen the TikTok trend, Ashley, where it's like, this was me, and this is like, where it's like they'll take a picture of them really pretty, and they'll be like, yeah, this is the damage, and then it shows them like as a heroin addict years later. You should post a picture of you like as a kid with a basketball, and like, this was me, and this is the damage, and it like shows you now in prison on TikTok. Look it up.
Or it could do me as a cop. Like, I was bullied, therefore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's what we do, right? That's
the next stage of LeBron's career. Is he's been bullied so much, he's going to have to become a police officer and take out his anger on other people. And then we'll defend him, of course, because he'll be behind the thin blue line. So then we have to defend
that's
him
what we
no matter what.
The photo of the lady checked it. It's just so funny to me.
She wins the internet for mocking him crying as she's getting kicked out for mocking him crying. It's amazing.
Goes my hero. Watch her as
she paid a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, those were good seats.
Dude, and well worth it. She's now famous. Like, the fact that she's not blown up on social media right now. But see, the last time LeBron kicked somebody out of the game, the woman made a TikTok reference to it, and then he blew her up and ended up crashing her Instagram. So I bet these two courtside champions here don't want to have that happen to them. But man, I wish I would follow them. I'd get them on the show, to be honest with you, because she seems like she has my kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, if anybody knows the pouty girl that mocked LeBron to his face, let us know.
I went to a baseball game when I was a teenager, and Jason Giambi was playing, and he was in college, and he wasn't in the major leagues yet, and so we were all calling him Bambi. Yeah. So we were all yelling, Bambi, 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 you suck. And like the whole stadium was doing this, and he was just waving and laughing, and then he was like making jokes back to the stands, and everybody was laughing. It was probably the most fun college baseball game ever, because they were making fun of Giambi, but he didn't whine and bitch and like have people thrown out. He just went with it. He was just like saluting his hat, and he struck out and bowed for everybody. Everybody was laughing. It's great. He had fun with it,
Well, much like cops have to develop thick skin over time, baseball players, comedians, they all the people that get heckled by crowds definitely like learn to develop a way to filter it out.
But like, do you think that LeBron has the thinnest skin of any professional athlete, or?
Yeah, he's a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, just a complete and utter bitch. And how does he not like look back and look at all this and be like, damn, I am soft?
I think he filters it.
Yeah,
he filters it.
Like, I think that he has a social media team that only shows him like, these are all the nice things that everybody is saying about you today. And I think he truly, his attitude is so infantile, that I think he truly believes that he is everybody's favorite person. And to actually see somebody for the first time publicly disagreeing with him, he's probably still like in the shower in the fetal, like upset. It's probably the first time his feelings ever got hurt.
I feel like all that girl said to him was that Space Jam sucked.
And it did. Anybody?
He's like, get out of here. These two right there. She just said my movie sucked. Get her out of here. That's all it was.
Did anybody see Space Jam 2? I didn't even go see it.
Why would I see Space Jam 2?
Which
There's
is
only
really
one
funny is
Space
because
Jam.
like all the toys in Walmart are like gone right now, like because all the shipping issues and all the container stuff. But there's like a frick ton of toys of whatever that movie is, toys out. And
Well,
I'm like,
there was
oh,
a
there
2
must
for
not
1.
be.
There was a 2 for 1 deal in China. He was getting the tennis shoes made, and they were making the Space Jam dolls and toys. So they just got a whole bunch extra. Crazy.
Well, that's why we have that shirt. LeBron James never heard of her.
Lebron. Never
I
heard
knew
of
that
her.
shirt was going to be gold. It's what I've always said. I'm a big fan of making fun of LeBron, and I love wearing that shirt specifically to sporting events when I go to Drinking Bros Sports.
I just want a picture of his crying face, the one that it's like a big crying LeBron face. I just want a shirt with
Make
that
that the
on it.
Christmas special. The Christmas special.
What if we did, Elijah? We've been talking about doing these. You know how the old saint photos with the position of blessing of the hand, and it's got the halo around.
Right.
I want like Saint James.
That would be
patron
incredible.
saint of whininess, or something stupid where we have him.
Patron saint of being a little bitch.
That doesn't sound exactly theologically deep, but accurate nonetheless.
I feel like that's what God thinks.
I think God looks down most days and is just like, I can't do this today.
He screwed up. I think
I can't deal with you guys today.
God only screwed up twice, and that's when he made giraffes and then LeBron James. Like he looked at the giraffe and he's like, damn, that looks dumb. Oh well, I've already created it. And then he's like got LeBron James. He's like, damn it. That's a whiny little bitch I created. Oh well, just leave it.
I guess just leave it. Just leave it.
It's entertaining.
Even God is like, I can't get it right all the time.
Saint LeCryan James.
Yeah, okay, let's figure out a new LeBron shirt.
Tis the season to be crying.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of our Kamala shirt.
Yeah, tis the season.
Tis the season to be lying.
Kamala,
oh my gosh.
La, 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 la.
I'm not even a Trump guy, and people think just because I make fun of politicians. If I make fun of the current administration, I got somebody the other day on social media because I troll Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Facebook because that's the only way that I can get traction on Facebook anymore because Facebook doesn't share my stuff. So I just go comment on other places, and people are like, "Oh, who's this dude?" And so I just go mock the president and the vice president on their comments. And it's pretty funny because somebody says, "I don't see you doing this on Trump's social media," and I was like, "Yeah, because they took him off." So if you weren't censoring everybody that disagreed with you, I'd be able to go make fun of him too. Whatever.
I try to make fun of like Lori Lightfoot, but Chicago they took all their social media commenting down. So
I had a comment deleted. I figured out that because they can't delete our comments on the government ones, the president, like POTUS, and the vice president, whatever that one is, the actual formal ones, they can't delete comments because it's a government like entity, I guess. But if you comment on Joe Biden's, like he's got a separate one and Kamala has a separate one, if you comment there, all my comments get deleted immediately. Like within 30 seconds, they're gone.
So they're trying to take away the like button and dislike button off of YouTube because every time the White House does a press release thing, like the live chat's like just like let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon, FJB, and then like a whole bunch of like hands down. Speaking of thumbs up or thumbs down, we got a bunch of people in the live chat right now. Head over there and smash that like button because that's what drives us on the algorithm for the YouTubes.
Yeah, giddy up. Hey, our next news story is not a feel-good story, really. It is out of New Jersey. Do we have that to pull up so I can read it? Do we have the article itself? Off-duty New Jersey officer fatally struck pedestrian, put body in car. Prosecutor says. Luis Santiago, a New Jersey police officer, is accused of fatally striking a pedestrian, taking the man's body home to discuss what to do, and then returning to the scene with the dead man in his back seat. Prosecutor said Wednesday. Newark officer Luis Santiago, age 25, his passenger, and his mother are all charged in the November 1st incident. Acting Essex County Prosecutor Theodore Stevens II said in a written statement, Santiago, who was off duty, allegedly struck Damian Dimka, a 29-year-old nurse, while he was walking around 3 a.m. on the shoulder of the Garden State Parkway. Neither Santiago nor his passenger, Albert Guzman, called 911 or rendered aid to Dimka after he was struck, the prosecutor's office said. They reportedly went back to the scene multiple times before they put Dimka into the Honda Accord. They went to Santiago's home where Guzman, and Santiago's mother, Annette Santiago, discussed what to do. These are all natural reactions to doing something, right? Luis Santiago eventually went back to the scene, and his father, who is a Newark police lieutenant, called 911. The state police arrived and found Dimka dead in the back seat. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so
What an idiot.
this nurse was actually working night shift. So possibly just like on a 3 a.m. Lunch break, kind of midway through your shift, especially if you're working like 12 to 6. This is a break time, and then you've got this officer driving around at 3 a.m. My theory on this is he's drunk, he drifts over, kills this dude, drives home, pounds beers while he's there, because that's the best way to get out of a DUI or out of a hit and run, is to say, oh no, I wasn't drunk when I did it. I was drunk after I went home, and started smashing alcohol, and that would throw off the DUI. So that's kind of what I think must have happened, because why else do you freak out if you just go off the side of the road and hit and kill somebody? I mean, that you don't go to jail for that unless you're drunk.
Really?
That's exactly where my mind went.
Yeah, when it was said the shoulder, and I was like, oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, I that was my first gut instinct too. Is like, oh, so he was intoxicated, and then they were joking around in the car like, oh, this will be 20 points for that one. Boom. Oops. Shit. Now we're in a predicament.
Yeah.
So the Newark officer's first instinct was to pull a weekend at Bernie's with his victim.
Well, what's really crazy is
prop him up in the back seat like a passenger and roam around for a little bit, figuring out what to do. And then you've got Dad who decides to call 911 for the son. What a mess.
What a train wreck.
What'll happen, if anything, to Dad for being in the know and ending up somehow at the scene and calling 911 on his behalf and that kind of a thing versus sometimes sooner. It'll be
well. I mean, I don't know. I
what
mean, it's
comes
like
out.
if you're working and your son's like, "Dad, I just killed somebody," and you're like, "Well, what?" And then you call 911. I mean, that's.
It depends on
maybe
when
his
he
father
knew.
didn't do anything wrong. Yeah,
Just
but
depends on when he
here's
knew.
what's crazy is that they hit the guy, left the scene, came back, put the dude in the car, drove back home, drove back to the scene again, left the scene again, and then came back a third time, called 911 with the body still in the back seat.
And probably drove right through the scene multiple times.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you think that the victim was really dead? Like, I mean, because the more I kind of think about the story, it's almost, I want to see the autopsy, like, for sure, because it's almost like, was he really dead or was he just knocked out and then they killed him later? They got scared, because it's too much movement, and a dead body is really, really heavy. Like,
It is a lot of movement.
a
Well,
lot of
there's two
maneuvering.
dudes. There's two dudes.
Like, it's a lot of maneuvering. Dead weight is
It
terrible.
is.
But it just makes me wonder, did he die right there? Did they load him up because he wasn't dead and they were going to try to get him to a hospital, and then he
Were they
died
going to
later,
pull
and they freaked out?
the body dump at the hospital? Do you guys ever have? Do you have
Oh,
that?
yeah.
That was like
Every
super
night.
common around here, where it was like they just a car pulls up into the carport at the hospital, thump thump, they drop somebody off, they got
Every
shot or
once in a
stabbed,
while.
and then boom, they're gone.
Oh, I think we get it every week in Raleigh. That's like a weekly occurrence.
Yeah.
Happens
So
all
maybe
the time.
the guy's like breathing a little bit, and they're like, "Shit, let's go drop him. Let's go drop him off. We don't want to call anybody and be here. Let's go do the dump." And then maybe he dies in the back seat on the way, and they're like, "Shit, now what? Let's go
Oops,
back,
Dad."
What are we doing back here? Let's go talk to my mom." That's another interesting thing for a 25-year-old man to do. His first instinct is to go figure out how to live his life from mommy too. It's like, what the heck, man? I'm glad that he won't be a cop anymore. I guess he's got that going for him. I'm curious to see what the punishment will be. And then we had we covered the Rittenhouse trial in a 2.5 hour episode. I think the jury got it right. And then we had the Ahmaud Arbery case, in which I also think the jury got it right. In both cases, back to back, but you can't help. Well, I'll stop there for a second while I think about this. What do you guys think about the Ahmaud Arbery decision? Did you follow that trial? Are you aware of the are you aware of the basics? And do you think that they got it right?
Go ahead.
Either one of you.
Us or the audience?
Don't. I mean,
I'll go.
we're not. Don't worry. We're not on a podcast
Yeah.
or anything like that. We're.
Yeah, I thought it was very well executed. I was very proud of the jury. They took their time with every individual charge to make sure that the crime met the charge that was associated with it, and I appreciated the effort they put into it. I thought it was a very well done, well executed case, and all three of those guys deserved to go to jail for murder. So I thought the trial couldn't have gone better.
The only one I'm confused about, and I guess I didn't follow the trial enough. Like, I'll start listening to most of it and researching because I know we have a show about it next week. But and I'll really get into it. But as my first perspective, not really knowing a lot about the case, obviously I know the bare minimum. But how do you charge somebody with third-degree murder for holding a video camera? I mean, unless he knew that the guy was going to shoot him. But I don't think anybody knew that guy was going to shoot the kid. So how do you charge somebody with murder for simply holding a video camera?
Well, I think
we do that in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, if you're involved in it, even if you didn't, you're an accessory. Maybe I don't know how the law works in Georgia. I don't know if here it would be some type of accessory too, but even those accessory laws usually carry the same penalties anyway. So like if you're the getaway driver, you are also part of the robbery charge because you participated. You might have not had this particular role, but in the whole concept of loading up with weapons to chase a man down, you did it. You were with them.
I guess good thing that Ray Lewis didn't do his drive-by in Georgia, or he'd probably still be in prison.
there you go. Equal treatment under the law, right? Yeah, it's nuts. But I do think that they got it right. And there's been some, especially out of the Rittenhouse thing, so many people were talking about, if Kyle was black, he wouldn't have gotten away with this. They inserted race into a whole situation in which it didn't belong. It wasn't there. I mean, the riots that were happening in Kenosha were based on the whole white officer shoots black Jacob Blake. That was rooted in that in terms of like what the rioting was supposed to be about. But that same week, there was a guy who shot at cops during a protest in self-defense who got off, a black male. I can't remember his name, and I didn't follow the trial. I just know that I looked at the basics of the case, and I remember hearing a blurb about it when it happened. So cops show up in riot gear. There's all this stuff happening. The guy believes he's being attacked, fires, hits an officer, and he's found not guilty by reason of self-defense. And so that happened. And then if the system is supposed to be inherently biased, well, then how does a court in the good old boy network area of Georgia end up acquitting someone? In fact, the judge wouldn't allow evidence of the portion where there was racial slurs. Like, they actually call Ahmaud Arbery the N-word, like in a video. The judge didn't even allow that piece of the evidence to be in there because he didn't want to taint the actual legal aspect of the charges, right? Like, did they have the legal right to pursue and arrest him with use of force like that? And that was a legal question. So I feel like this last week and a half or whatever, there's been a pretty good demonstration that the system, when allowed to work the way it's intended, does a pretty good job most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think if anything, it sheds light on where the system fails is why do you've got a 5-time felon pedophile still able to go out and protest after curfew? I mean, that's where the system fails.
Well, that still goes back. I think that's all connected to the coronavirus stuff, because I don't know if it was going on in your guys' part of the country, but for us, our jails were not taking anybody in with, we would have people with like sexual offense warrants, and some of our jails were like, yeah, we're not taking anybody in right now. You just got to hold that warrant. If it wasn't like serious violence, our jails were not taking them, and our prisons were doing early releases because of crowding due to COVID. So your quality of people that are out here rioting for funsies at 2 a.m. are all these people that should be locked up but can't be locked up. So it's just like, I feel like it's all like it was a perfect storm of coronavirus meets I gotta be careful. I'm still a cop. Coronavirus meets like rioters, like opportunities to commit crimes with really no consequences, and it's just created this beautiful mess. I think it's all connected. But
I never did understand during COVID times why they were telling us we should stay in our homes, but prisoners should be let out. Is that what's going on? I'm like, wait a second. If it's good for me to be locked up and with a mask on, well, keep those people locked up with masks on. There's no easier way to control the movement of people than when they're all locked up somewhere. I'm like, what the heck, man?
Which Ashley, you know a lot about that. You know all about being locked up with no mask and
yes.
What
quarantine.
year?
Anything.
What year was your season filmed? Was it 2018 or 2019?
2019.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So, like, what people are seeing now, Addicted to on Netflix, is 2 years old. Basically.
Like almost 3 years old now.
Yeah.
Is
so
it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I like it. We're gonna get all into. So, guys, in the comments, if you want to start posting your questions that you would like to hear Ashley answer, you can post them in there. Obviously, we won't see all of them per se, but you can drop them in there nonetheless. We need to thank Cardomax real quick for being a sponsor of the show before we dive into all this stuff with Ashley. So, what do you got Cardomax wise? I know that
we should call it Coltomax because for whatever reason, anytime our followers buy Cardomax, they send pictures of them with their Cardomax on their police cars or within their dog's mouth. It literally every week.
That's how the wolf pack is going to go out. When our cult grows to big enough, we're all going to wear Lebron shoes, and we are going to drink Cardomax that's poisoned and lay on our racks in our cult home, and we're all going out together that way.
We're all going
that's
out
together. That's how the wolf pack ends.
That's what a beautiful ending. I like
Sean Matson's like, oh my gosh, why do I have
Jesus,
these guys?
What the fuck?
Read these things.
No, I think it's super funny because we've never asked anybody to take a picture and tag us in a picture of anything that they've ever bought from our sponsors. But for whatever reason, we get lots of these from Cardomax, and it's a trend that I'm into, and I dig it, and I love the creativity there. So keep it coming, Wolfpack. But Ashley, I bet you wish you had some immune booster. Because I'm sure that when somebody gets sick in jail or in prison, that it has to go rampant. It is that time of year when you wake up with a cough or a sore throat or other annoying symptoms for no reason other than it's just getting cold outside or you're in prison. And that's why you need Cardomax Immune Booster to keep your body at 100%. Cardomax Immune Booster uses all natural ingredients that increases your body's ability to adapt to stressors, increase muscle endurance, and provide other immune system benefits. Owned and operated by former Navy SEAL, and even cooler than being a Navy SEAL, he's a fellow drinking bro. Sean Matson.
He's a member of the Wolf Pack.
He is.
Screw the drinking bros. Sean's where it's at.
Sean Matson.
Now the drinking bros are like, son of a bitch. Why do we have this guy on our network?
God bless. But Cardomax Immune Booster comes in the easy to mix liquid packet in 2 great flavors, orange and watermelon. Watermelon being my favorite. Tastes great. The ingredients are healthy, and it's made by a veteran and a drinking bro. November 22nd through the 30th. That's today. Immune Booster.
It is.
Plus, Cardomax has a new.
The 26th.
Oh, it's the 26th. So you have 4 more days. Cardomax has a new hydration line. Yes, you can use your promo code for that too. For limited time, you get 30% off of your next 4 orders. Cardomax is offering Wolfpack an exclusive offer, 30% off your next 4 orders. Go to cardomax.com and use that promo code Wolfpack. That is CARDOMAX.com and use the promo code Wolfpack and you will get 30% off your next 4 orders. That's cardomax.com, helping you achieve your max. Which I bet you if you were all jacked up on some immune booster and getting the sleep that you needed, you might not have cried so much on 60 Days.
Okay, so here's the deal. I want to start you from my first moment I saw Ashley till now. I'll catch you up. But I have seen a lot of the 60 Days in my family has watched them all, my kids especially. And so season 6 comes out and my youngest daughter starts watching it, and I think her and my wife are in the room, and I walk into the room, and there's doing 60 Days In, and I'm like, who is? And you're on the screen. You just found out in the show that your marriage was coming to a tragic end or something like that, I think. And so you start crying, and I'm like, who is this chick? And they're like, oh, she's a cop. And I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, stop crying. There's no crying in jail. You can't do this. Stop it. And then I sat down on the couch, and then I was hooked. And then I watched all of season 6. And then, spoiler alert, I guess, there's a moment where you're actually helping someone, and they could have, I think that if left unchecked, could have slid from one story of a building to the other. And you pull a cop move. And I was like, oh, allegedly. As soon as it happened, like I was like one of the prisoners. I'm looking at you and I see this happen. I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. And I'm like, she's done now, because everyone's gonna know that she's either like a WWE former superstar or there's been some training here. Something's different. So I watched the whole season. I especially got locked in on appreciating your perspective on your experience when I watched like the reunion show. And I posted something because honestly, I spend most of my 60 Days In just mocking the COs because they all, I mean, listen, this is my words. This is not Ashley has not put this bug in my ear, by the way. It's just whoever's listening. I watched the 60 Days In show, and this could be just the way that the producers do it, what they do, because a lot of corrections officers have said they don't show half of anything. This is a bad portrayal of COs. I wouldn't know because I've never been a CO. I have been around the county jail a ton, in and out of there and all that stuff. But listen, the ones that are shown on 60 Days In, every time there's like a lockdown thing and they bring in their freaking Pepperball Dog the Bounty Hunter bullshit, and they come in there and I'm like, these people cannot handle themselves for shit. No, I cannot understand why these prisoners just don't take over the jail every day, because these guards suck. That's how I look at it. But anyway, I see this whole experience that you undergo, and then I posted on Facebook and Instagram, like, okay, how accurate? Because maybe my perception of guards is like completely skewed from just watching this narrow thing. And I'm not an idiot. I know like perception is not reality. So I'm asking to elicit some conversation, and Ashley reaches out in a DM, which I'm surprised that I saw, because I don't really check them that often. It's like bi-weekly. I'll look at like the pending messages and I'll never catch up. And I saw that you sent me a message. Brag. And yeah, there you go. I get so many messages. And I was like, I fangirled. I was like, I told my daughter, I was like, Anna, you are not going to believe who just messaged me. And I was like freaking out, because I'm like, and I was fangirling. I'm like, no way. And I was like, I can't wait to ask her about the crying. And she's like, you will not ask her about that. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I will. Because I'll be consistent. Don't worry. And so I was freaking out. I think I texted in the family group chat, like I'm like, dude, look who messaged me. This is freaking crazy.
You're not allowed to fangirl over me, because I fangirl over you, and we can't. That's canceling out, and I'm not okay with it.
Oh, maybe you guys should just
dislike me.
Maybe you guys should
take Eric out of the show, please.
Maybe you guys should just fang.
Do what?
Okay, now you look at her and you look at him.
Anyway, so that's my long intro of how we've come to this point, and talk to us. Talk to us, Ashley, about whatever led up to you being on the show. Like, let's get to that point. Like, how did you end up on 60 Days In?
So I too am a huge fan of 60 Days In, because I felt like it was refreshing to see an unedited look at kind of what we're doing. It had the same vibe as live PD to me. Like, this is what our CEOs actually have to deal with. This is the kind of people that we as law enforcement as a whole have to deal with. Here's your average Joe citizens going in there, and this is how jail changes you. Because I'm a big psychology nerd too. I'm working on my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So the modern day Sanford experiment that I'm watching here is like amazing. So I am really good at Google and investigative internet sleuthing. So I figured out who the production company was. So in August of 2018, I sent an email to their production company and said, "Hi, I'm Ashley, and I need to be on your show. I want to do this so bad." Then they accidentally emailed me back, and they were like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Well, let me just see how far this goes, because nobody I know goes on reality TV. I don't think anybody ever actually, like, it's, who does this happen to, right?" So we're emailing back and forth, and I start having interviews. And then things start progressing, and they start progressing even more. And then comes January 2019, and I get officially cast on the show. So then I call my chief, and I call my city manager, and I'm like, "Listen, we need to have a meeting." So I did something maybe bad.
Oh, so you live by the ask forgiveness, not permission rule?
Pretty much. I got cast on it, and then afterwards I was like, how can I get permission to do this? Because if they tell me no, I'm not going to do it, because I love my city and I love my job, and I'm not going to quit my job to go on TV for 2 months. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. They don't pay you, like, I don't get $1 million at the end. Like,
yeah,
you're not
right.
paid very much. So, so I sit them down and I'm like, "Listen, guys, here's what I've got." This is how I justified it, honestly. So I was in the military at the time. I've been in the military since I was 17. I was National Guard at this point, and I was like, "Look, I'm coming up on the end of my National Guard tour. I'm going to be given the opportunity to re-enlist. Rather than re-enlisting and getting this chunk of bonus money, I would like to go and help this jail out, go undercover. It will be on TV. You guys can watch." Oops, my phone's dying. Crap. You guys can, watch the show. Tell me what you think about it. I would like to do this instead of the military. I'm going to get out of the military. Go do this, help this jail out, and then afterwards just stop leaving and doing things." They thought about it. They asked the mayor, and the mayor watched every episode of every season, and he is like, "This show's super cool. I want her to do it." Like, "Oh, okay." So they sent me on my merry way. I had to call my city manager from jail once a week. That was our condition, is I had to check in with him once a week, so he knows that I wasn't unalived.
Which, yeah, do you have an OnlyFans by chance?
I do not, but I get asked that. It goes from congratulations on doing such a great job, we're proud of you, all the way to kill yourself, send me pictures of your feet, and what's the link to your OnlyFans? And I don't.
Oh God, you should start an OnlyFans, like an Only Feet fans, and you should call it like Dirty Little Pigs or Dirty Little Piggies. And you soak your toes into the mud, and you like squish it around with your toes, and you're like,
I feel like this is way too thought out. Very detailed.
I'm
desire.
sorry, but that is thought out.
Dirty Little Piggies on onlybodycams.com.
Oh my gosh.
See Ashley from 60 Days In.
This little piggy went to OnlyCams. This little piggy.
Yeah. Like, you dip it in like all sorts of dirty stuff. Like, it's Thanksgiving, so you're like, "This little piggy's in the pumpkin pie, and this little piggy's in the cherry pie."
Oh my gosh.
This is the
go on.
pie.
So what I like
so
about
bad.
the show, you just never know. Like, I did not anticipate that an hour ago we would be talking about a toe-themed OnlyFans.
This is night shift, right? This is night shift.
This is a different vibe. Oh. So your work obviously allows you to take the time required to do this, and you line it all up, and then it's go time, right? And are you regretting it as you're walking into intake, kind of going like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
No, I'm an idiot because I thought it was funny. So, like, if you watch when they call me out, so I had tickets to go see. It was the premiere of Avengers Endgame. So every season I'd ever seen was we do our little briefing, and then we're released, and then a couple of days later you get arrested on like some like street somewhere. So I was like, right before we went into our briefing with the sheriff, I bought tickets to the premiere of Avengers Endgame. Excuse me. And then they arrest me on the spot. So I'm like, man, it's just my luck. I'm not going to get to see Endgame for the next 2 months now. Better not get spoiled by these inmates. I'm going to be pissed. Also, the end of Game of Thrones. The whole entire last season of Game of Thrones came out when I was in jail too. So imagine my disappointment
sucks, by the way.
when I get out. it does up until the last season. The
Game
last
of Thrones
season doesn't
sucks.
No, it does not, Mike.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. It's one of the greatest series of all time.
Have you even
it's
watched
not.
it, Mike?
I tried to watch it. I tried.
Mike doesn't like it because it's overrated.
He
Like
didn't
if
give
it was
it a chance.
bourbon,
No,
where
no.
everybody likes it.
The
he'd be
problem
like,
with Game
Because it's
of
cool,
Thrones
it's not-
is that it's a bunch of midgets having weird sex, and that is the
Yeah.
whole show.
oh, you
It's
were
midget porn.
offended.
It's midget porn under the cover of sci-fi or not
That was
sci-fi. but
one episode where a midget goes like gets it on, and listen, like you.
all it is,
was-
it's about.
it was
It's just
different
about nudity.
plots.
It's nothing but nudity meets hobbits. I don't know. It's weird, man. Like,
Well, I'm all in
what-
on that. Okay, I'm all in.
I
on
know,
that.
You don't
clearly.
want to watch Sexy Lord
Nudity.
of the Rings? Sexy Lord of the Rings is not good enough for Mike. Is that?
Lord of the Rings is
The
classy.
fact that Lord of the Rings is being compared to Game of Thrones right now,
Yeah, Lord
makes
of the
me
Rings
want
is
to throw
classy.
up.
Game of Thrones is trashy.
I don't want to talk
And the
to you guys
acting
anymore.
sucked, dude. Jason Momoa's
This is a
character is a
very-
complete lump of coal.
How dare you?
Yeah, I don't
no,
even like
this
let's
show.
just-
The acting sucked, dude. I tried like 3 episodes. I couldn't keep going. I'm like, this sucks. Why do people watch this?
You're insane.
disrespectful.
What a
Eric,
great-
Anyway,
Let's
let's
break
not
my
get
heart
off
this
track. Endgame, on the other hand, is freaking awesome. Okay.
Sure.
I'm all about the Avengers Endgame. Loved that. But
Yes.
so I'm
I
very
didn't get-
sad that you bought tickets to that and couldn't see it at the
Yes.
premiere. But
It was
anyway,
very sad for me.
so you were more. Are you saying you were more upset that you were missing your movies than?
Yes, and that's I'm not proud of that, but I'm also not a liar. So like I'm not proud of that's what I was upset about. But I had to go to jail very quickly, and then I was like, okay, well this is fine. And I wanted to, if I could go back in time, I would have been like the most awful inmate of all time. I would have snuck cigarettes in. I would have snuck like whatever I could in. I would have snuck my bra in and my underwear in. But because I was trying to, be
She down.
Oh, her phone died.
Yeah, it definitely
I think
died.
her phone died.
Her
I think
phone
she
died.
needed to plug it in.
She'll get it plugged back in. But one of the things I want to talk to her about, and she's talking about just going into the jail, where there's a correction officer with her, and he's also doing this 30 days in, and he gets into the part where I think I would not make it. My wife was like, "Oh, you would totally do good on this show." And I'm like, "Dude, no, I wouldn't. Like that is way out of my realm. I couldn't do it. I cannot be locked up in jail. That's why I don't do anything wrong. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to go to jail, period.
You don't think you could do it?
There. No, fuck no. And when he gets there and the corrections officer, he gets like 5 minutes into this thing and he's like, nope, I'm fucking out. I can't do it. And I was like, you know what? I would be right there with you, man. It is so foul and filthy. One, as soon as they gave me that dirty ass mattress, that's not a ghost bed. I'm not doing that.
Do you guys have
I'm
any
like,
ghost mats?
You guys have any
That's
ghost bed mats
where
in here?
ghost beds should move into the prison industry and sell ghost mats.
Nobody would want to get out of prison, and they'd all want to just
Everybody
stay
wanna
there
be
in their
there.
ghost beds. But yeah, while we're waiting for her to get on, hopefully she didn't get hacked. Which there's a great news story that just came out in the news as well regarding Apple, and there was a Polish prosecutor that was investigating a case in Poland of maybe voter fraud, huh? That doesn't happen though, right? Voter fraud?
No way.
Well, it does. And the state, I guess the Polish government was hacking her phone and Apple alerted her. And it's a big news story. So go and Google that if you got some time. So I'm going to be following up on it. Maybe we'll talk about it on Tuesday night's night shift after I get all the information out. But as of right now, she was alerted by Apple, and that's something that Apple is doing. And then Apple is actually going after, they're going to go after the company is that the government used to hack her phone. So
Hey, she's back. Hagna the Viking. Hagna.
I don't know what
Hagna the
happened.
Viking. This is my. Hey, listen. The Viking show is great. The last. What was the one? There was another Viking one too about Ragnar, and it was The Last Kingdom or something like that. Maybe I can't remember the name of that.
Yeah.
One, but Vikings was great. I loved Vikings. That was good.
yeah, but if it had nudity in it, you wouldn't like it because
It's
you're
not.
pure.
Listen,
you're a
no,
pure
it's
man.
not.
Mike-
it's
That's
Mike
not the
approved.
problem.
It's not just about the nudity. It's about the way that it's done. If it's just these shows end up just being gratuitous, and so people are like, "Oh, I watch Game of Thrones to see boobs." First of all, you can see those free anytime, any day, anywhere. Why are you watching a show? Why are you building your life around seeing boobs? These people, dudes that watch Game of Thrones are dudes that don't get laid. Period. That's my
not
my
true.
contention. Sorry, I said it. I said what
I got
said.
4 kids, baby. I'm getting laid all the time.
You've been laid 4 times.
Well, and I was watching Game of Thrones all 4 times. So,
but it's only on planned out nights after too many glasses of wine.
Ashley, what was your thought? Like, so you're walking into the jail. And this is what I've got to know is, and they're locking these doors behind you. You're getting searched. You don't have a bra. You don't have any panties, which is a whole other thing we'll talk about in a few minutes.
No, we won't.
Yeah, because I'm interested in this whole thing. And you don't bring any contraband in. You don't have any Cardomax shoved up the old prison purse or anything like that. So you get in through the door.
What is this? It's energy intensifier.
Yeah, it's a immune booster. Are you just like, was there at any point where you're like, oh shit, there's no turning back, or like a sense of like despair or anything?
No, and I think that's weird. That came later. Like in the beginning, I was just really, really excited because this is like, who does this ever happen to? It was just one of those deals. Like it was something new, something exciting, something I'd never done. I was being allowed to do it, so that's weird. It's just, I was just kind of excited to see what it was going to be like. Little did I know, it was not going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you're a weird human being. Do you understand that? Because like never once did I say, man, like I wonder what it's like to be locked up in prison with a whole bunch of other people of the same sex without any freedom. That would be terrible. That seems like my worst fucking nightmare of all time.
Maybe for guys, but for women, it was, women are very interesting in there. And I was under the impression that I was just going to be like able to read and kind of not really relax. Like obviously I was watching for stuff, but maybe I had like a hero complex. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Maybe I thought that I was going to go in there and, change everything. And I was going to be the one who is going to fix criminal justice for all of America. And I was proud and excited. I was nervous for sure.
What did you find when you got in there? Was it more lawless than you expected it to be? Was it more, more disciplined than you thought it was going to be? How was it?
It was almost like being out at recess in elementary school. So everybody, you had little groups. So when I got there, everybody was on lockdown. So this particular jail, you're locked up 21 hours a day, and you only get 3 hours of free time. So you get
you're locked. You're in your room 21 hours a day.
Yes.
You're not in the main like vestibule area for 21 hours a day. Like you can't come in and out of your room.
No, 21 hours a day you're locked down.
That doesn't seem healthy. Like I agree that people who commit crimes should be locked up. I think like segregated from society that are dangerous to society for any number of reasons. But I didn't even realize, wow, in the room. You can't come in and out into that little public area. You're just inside that small room for 21 hours a day.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that is not mentally helpful.
And imagine the ones that are in psych, the ones that are in segregation. So they have the segregation females above. I was in room 509, and on top of me was room 529, and that was actually Sierra's room. And she stayed locked down for 23 hours a day. And then at 10 p.m., they let all of the psych patients out together to go shower and stuff. And that was our entertainment. And it shouldn't be. You become much more comfortable with violence. I already was a person who I like to watch videos of people fighting. I don't personally.
So you're a World Star addict.
Yes. So we had a local World Star. I don't know if your guys' communities have that. Well, they'll have like Detroit World Star or Raleigh World Star. That's a hard word for me to say.
Raleigh or World Star?
Raleigh World Star. I feel like that's a really good tongue twister.
There you go.
But like, so they would fight all the time, and we would just get up in the windows. I had a perfect view, and that's what we would do for entertainment. We didn't have TV. You have to become a thief. So I started stealing books. I would sneak into the library and I would steal books and read them.
What do you mean sneak into the library? Where's the library?
And it's all in the pod. So on the second floor, we had groups. We had some girls who, so everybody is different. You got your purple shirts, which are your regular female inmates. You have your bright pink shirts, which are women charged with murder. And then you had your soft pink shirts. And the soft pink shirts were part of the SAP program, which is the substance abuse court-ordered program. They were also on the second floor, and they did class in the library. So we had a library on the second floor. And during free time, I would go up there because we had one guard the whole time. So I would go up there, and me and a couple other girls would sneak into the library. We'd steal books. And then whenever they do shakedowns, they take all our books away. So that was very sad.
Geez, so now were you like, I mean, what kind of trouble were you allowed to kind of get into trouble? Like, are they going to like give you an actual sentence? You're like 60 days in, they're like, oh, bitch, you fucking stole a book. So we're going to tack on 3 more days to your sentence.
It would have been, I would have been put in isolation, but still really didn't matter to me because I was in isolation most of the time anyways, 21 hours a day. It just would have been bumped up to 23 hours.
So when you're in
isolation, they take your books and they take entertainment. And so you have to sit there in silence.
When you're in your cell for 21 hours, are you with somebody else? Yeah, because
most of the time I was.
So that would suck. So like, yes, Gracie Ackman, who's calling me out on here. Yeah, of course I'm going to ask this. But if you're in lockdown and you're by yourself, dude, I want to be myself because I would just be jerking off the entire time by myself. I would hate to be locked in a room for 21 hours, like having to like sneak jerk it. That would be the worst part about
There's
prison
no
for
sneaking.
me.
There's cameras in there.
I don't care if the camera sees me. I just don't want to do it while another dude sitting next to me.
Did you not see the previews and what some of the women were doing when they were locked down by themselves?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'd want to be locked down by myself because I'd be doing all those things.
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
No.
I'd be like stealing books. Like I stole a book. Give me isolation. Put me in a cell by myself.
Dude, I've got to find this. I've got to find this photo. If I can find it, I'll have Elijah put it on the screen. But because I want to show what Tansey would be like in his cell. I'll find it. I'll find it while you guys
my legs would be up over my head. My fingers.
You'd have your cellmate Amazoning you or whatever it is that you say.
Yeah, I would be.
There'd be such a pretty girl, Eric.
I'd be looking at the camera like flexing while I do it. Like, yeah, bitch. Put me in isolation.
So you're sneaking books.
That wasn't the only thing I was stealing.
What else were you stealing? What?
So,
I want to know the list of things you stole.
Okay, so I was very, very well behaved up until day 4 when I had been requesting underwear and a change of clothes so I could take a shower. So I had gone 4 days at that point without a shower, and they were not giving me any underwear or clothing or anything. So I was like, well, I'll just take a shower and I'll put these dirty clothes back on. So I put my dirty clothes back on, and then I started talking to Officer Williams, and I'm like, hey, I really need a change of clothes. I've just showered. I'm on day 4 with these clothes, and I have nothing to change into. And she's like, well, just take them off, and I'll send the laundry girl people to come by, and then I'll bring you another set. And I'm like, if I do that, I'll be naked. And she said, that's not my problem. So like, all right,
you got left in the
guard.
cell. You got left in the cell that way, didn't you?
Well, I trusted her because I'm thinking this is a guard. She is on my team. There's no way they actually would leave me. Like, I didn't even think that was a possibility. I thought I had to stand there naked for a little bit, and that was fine. And then she'd be like, hey, sorry, here's your clothes. But this bitch, she takes my clothes and then goes and sits down, starts eating her Chinese food. And I'm left there at the window like, hey, you said you'd come back. Can I please have some clothes? And at that point, I was naked and afraid. And like
different show.
Yes. And I'm like, we can't merge. Like I didn't sign up for this. So I'm absolutely humiliated because I am very, very aware that this is going to be on national television. I knew that this was not something they were going to edit out. Like this is a big thing that's happening, and I'm about to be just on all my glory naked on television. So Mama Rita, who was my hero, had been stealing shirts from the laundry, and she had been stuffing them in her pillowcase, a rag. So we weren't given pillows. So you had to kind of like steal things to make like a pillow. So she had taken a bunch of shirts. So I had one shirt on that I put my legs through to make pants, and another shirt on top. And I just sat in my bunk and cried. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make a bra. I'm going to rip my bed sheet up. I'm going to make a bra. I'm going to
Is
hustle.
that a skill
for
that
some-
you practice before going in?
No, that was in the heat of the moment. That was like my survivor moment. Like, I gotta secure the sisters because it's about to
It'd be
go
way
down.
easier to make makeshift underwear out of a ripped up bed sheet than it would be a
Well,
bra.
I was
I would just assume.
I was hustling underwear. So I got commissary. So I traded coffee and Jolly Ranchers for somebody's used panties, and I was grateful. Like, you are great. No, when you get them, you're grateful. And
Did you say used?
yeah, but I washed them in the toilet, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, so they're good.
Oh,
They're good. That is
yeah.
It's
No, that's
fine.
fine.
It's not fun in there. But
So
but yes, after that, yeah.
Did you got a divorce while you were in? Like, did your husband leave you while you were in prison?
So here's what happened. He joined the Navy in August of 2019. So about the time that I emailed the show was when he left for Navy boot camp. And October comes around, he graduates, and we have a discussion, and we decide that maybe marriage isn't the right thing for us. So we talk about divorce, but we're like, you know what, we're not going to file. Let's just kind of put a pin in it for now. Let's see what happens. I've just been asked to be on the show. He's still in training in Pensacola, so we're just like, we'll just put a pin on it. Let's, you go to jail, I'll support you. I'll take care of everything while you're gone. Okay. So I go in there, and the problem with being isolated for 21 hours a day is you are very much left alone with your thoughts. So it's psychologically draining. So in my mind, I'm thinking, my marriage is ending. I need something. We can't keep dragging this along. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's happening. Am I going to be married? So I start writing him emails. I'm like, you need to let me know what's going on. I can't be left with my thoughts like this. So finally he writes me an email back that says, look, you need to prepare to be alone. We're not going to be together anymore after this. Okay. I've made the decision. We're not going to do this. So
he's like, I'm in the Navy. I found another guy. You're in prison. Find another girl, and let's just be done with this.
He's my friend on Facebook. So he's my friend still. Like, I don't want to say mean things about him because he's a good dad. We share a kid together.
There's nothing mean about being gay. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Just because he left you for a bunch of dudes in the, just because he's wanted to be crammed in with a bunch of seamen and a long, hard submarine doesn't
Tansey,
mean
you
that.
were Army, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
We
okay.
don't do other dudes in the Army. That's a Navy. That's a Navy thing. Marines are bi. Navy's gay. The Air Force is just rich.
There's just too many alphabets to keep up with. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
And
know
then now we
to do.
have the Space Force, so that's fun. If I ever get back in, I'm going to be in the Space Force so bad.
Yeah,
that will be what I sign back up for.
Absolutely.
How many people? I know. I just saw this question pop up, and I have more questions to ask about your experience. But somebody wanted to know: has anyone inmate-wise contacted you post-show? Are you connected to some of the inmates that were in there? What's that like socially after the fact?
Yes. So there are actually 2 inmates that I was in jail with who are watching this right now. I don't want to say the names because they're my friends and I want to protect their privacy. But I'm friends with several of them on Facebook. You can be a good person who made a bad choice and end up in jail, or you can be a truly bad person. And I did not meet very many truly evil people when I was in there. I met a bunch of good people who made really bad choices, who definitely deserve to be there. They did wrong, but they're not bad people. And I'm happy that I have friendship with them. So there are several inmates that are on my Facebook, several inmates that I keep in touch with. You can't bond with somebody like that and not have a friendship afterwards.
What was the craziest thing that you saw while you're in there? Was it somebody that prison pursed themselves? Was it? I saw like on the preview that some chick pulled out like another girl put a glove on and reached into the girl's vagina and pulled something out. Like, did you ever have to do that?
A methamphetamine recovery? No, I didn't have to go. I didn't have to go panty diving, but
what's it called?
Panty diving.
Yeah. That's what I call it on the streets when they ask me to come do a female search. Like, we need a female officer to come search. I'm like, you mean you want me to come panty diving? Okay. I'll be there in a minute. So yes, but
Did you do the toilet talking? Did you do the toilet talking where like you drain the toilet and like talk?
We didn't need to. I could
okay.
have, but we had. If you go out into the, I forgot about this. This is so embarrassing. We would go out into like our little rec area.
Yeah.
So we didn't go outside. We had an area that had bars for windows, like bars where the windows would be, and you could yell up to the men upstairs when they were in their rec yard. And then there were some rooms that connected to the men's pod next door, and they had a window that would show from the female like rooms out into the men's rec yard. And so, and then we had a door where you could slide notes in, so it was easy to talk to people. But the worst thing was when I became a trustee and I got pulled out at 1 a.m. To go and clean a room that a mentally ill inmate had absolutely destroyed.
Oh yeah, she finger painted with her excrement all over the place. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it was so bad. She's the one that actually got. If you watch the phase 2 ones, this inmate who had destroyed her room was also the same one that had bleach poured on her bed by the guard. The guard had bleached her bed. So that inmate was extremely mentally ill, and to take somebody who's already suffering from mental illness and put them in an isolation cell for 21 or 23 hours a day for them. I mean, she just destroyed it. She stuffed her bed sheets down the toilet and then pooped everywhere and played in it, and flooded it, and we had to go in there and clean it up. And it smelled exactly like. Have you ever been dispatched to like a welfare check and you get there and it's somebody who died 2 months ago and they've like melted?
Yes,
sure.
Yes, that's what it smelled like.
Oh God, that makes me soft.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for that picture while I'm trying to pay attention, like to be
that
keyed in
makes
here,
me
but I'm trying to
soft.
find this picture of you in jail still.
Well, while you're looking at that, so
no,
did you? So your boyfriend, your husband leaves you while you're in prison.
Yes.
You're stuck there. Do you start like? I mean, are you able to get on like dating apps, or are you able to like? Are you starting to slide notes through under the door to the guy's cell? Like,
so this is funny.
all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies.
Fun fact: I can do that dance. That's the only dance that I can do. That's my party trick. But
Humanizing the badge.
Yes, I want that on a T-shirt too. When I had a very best friend who was my beat partner, and I was allowed to have one friend that I could call, email, who's allowed to know about the show, and he had to sign a waiver. You know, he's my beat partner, my best friend, and so I'm calling him, I'm writing him emails and stuff, and then I get released from jail, and I'm like, I've got nobody to pick me up at the airport. Let me call my best friend, and I asked him to pick me up at the airport, and we got married in May of this year. So,
yeah. I mean, was it what like when you got out of prison, and obviously you're like in love with your beat partner, and now you're married to him and everything. But do you get out of jail? And I mean, is it like, so for me, and this is a funny story that I tell just for entertainment value. This is what I do for you, Wolfpack. But I got to go to a prison myself, but not for 60 days, thank God. I guess I kind of volunteered for it, but I really didn't want to do it. I just wanted to pursue a certain career in the military. And so I had to go to a POW type camp in a government detainee kind of area. And I was in there for a couple of weeks or whatever. And I just remember like when I got out, like it wasn't that I was like aggressive, but like I was definitely different coming out. And especially like the girl that I was with at the time was kind of like, yeah, you are fucking way different when you went in as you came out, like a different human being. So,
yes.
and of course she left me very shortly after that. But which is fine.
Works differently. Time works differently when you're in jail.
Yeah.
It days don't pass like they do out here. It's like time doesn't exist in there. It's very, very weird to describe. and because you have so much time to think about things, it is the most intense mind fuck you will ever have, is being isolated and being in jail, and also being innocent. You forget to add that in there.
Right.
Knowing that you are not a person who deserves to be in there, you start to think that maybe you do, and that was very weird.
But what did your beat partner think? Was he like, dude, you're way different? Because I mean, when you get done with something like that, and you know it's traumatic, say what it is or whatever.
Oh.
But like when you get out, like you it's weird, right? For like a couple of days, like turning on the lights. It's whenever I watch whatever that movie was with Tom Hanks where he crashes that airplane and survives on an island and he's flicking on.
He didn't crash the airplane.
Castaway.
Whatever, Castaway. Like I remember, like just. Like when I saw that scene of the movie, because I just watched it with my children probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, and he flipped on the light switch. I like looked at my wife and I was like, "Holy shit! I know exactly what that feeling is right there that they're putting in this movie." So like that must be like a thing. Was there like a thing where you got out and you were like, "Guys, shit's just weird." Like the fact that I can just walk out of my bedroom and walk to the kitchen, that's weird, right?
My thing was flushing the toilet. So we could only flush the toilet twice in 1 hour. So we had a if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down policy in our cell. So I, for the longest time, would forget to flush the toilet, and that embarrassed me a lot, because I'm like, sorry for anybody who comes in the bathroom after me. Like, I didn't mean to not flush the toilet, but if I had pooped, you just know that I would have been there to flush it. But
so you're down at the chow hall and you're like, damn it, Karen, if you eat another fucking piece of asparagus, I swear to God, you don't want to smell that urine.
That's us having to get served green vegetables. That's not a thing. There's a lot of corn. We ate a lot of corn.
Which is like, there's no nutritional value in corn. That's weird.
It falls into the vegetable category, therefore it's a box you can check. But the food was good. I will say this: the food was pretty good.
Really, the food was good.
Man, I was in the Army, so I am a human trash can. So I don't think I can judge quality of food appropriately. I think everything is delicious if it's food. So
yeah, it's like it's not like The Office where he's like, you eat ghoul. A bowl of ghoul.
Did you mentioned like you saw cell phones floating around and all that stuff, and
for sure
we saw drugs get into the jail. We saw shanks being made. We saw all this other stuff. So how were cell phones getting in? How were they getting passed around? How did that all work?
So cell phones were definitely coming in. Just they would be in bras. They would be in underwear. If you saw in the very beginning, we weren't getting properly patted down. So it's very much like, if you seem like a nice, sweet little person like I did, they're not going to pat you down. They're not going to watch you undress. I could have brought so much into that jail, and I'm disappointed that I didn't. So they would actually have people go out, get arrested for public intox just to come back in and bring in more drugs. And you can always, tracking the drugs was so easy. And I tried to tell them about this, but it never made it to the final edit. You can always tell when drugs are in the facility based on the amount of trays that get taken during meal times. So if there's meth, crack, all that fun stuff in there, they're going to be doing the drugs, and they're not going to be coming out for meals. They're not going to be coming to get their lunch trays. They're not going to, so we're going to have leftover trays. So you can always track. It's kind of a cycle, and that's like the biggest clue that I learned when I was a trustee, was to see, okay, we've got 10 extra trays left over today. That means there's got to be meth around here somewhere. And we always know, we can always tell based on our frequent flyers. Go out there, they get arrested for PI, they come back in, and they bring, we had one girl stuffed her prison wallet full of marijuana, and she was in the cell next to me, and it smelled so bad. Like, oh gosh, it smelled so awful. Like, she had to have some sort of an infection, because it's not a wallet. No matter how many different ways you try to call it that, it's never going to be a storage facility. It's just not.
There's a bread factory upstream.
We can't make it happen. It's never going to happen.
So the prison wallets and Naked and Afraid, they do like a Naked and Afraid revamp where they take the winners and they send them back in, and instead of being like 30 days, they do like a 60-day challenge. If they were to do 120 days in, would you go back and would you do anything different?
If I could go back in time and do things
No,
different,
if they're like Ashley, we're gonna give you a huge bonus of cash if you'll do 120 days in or 100 days. Let's fuck it. Let's say they say 60. Well, you did 60, so yeah, let's say if you do 90 days in a reboot, like 90 days revisited with Ashley, would you do it? And then when you did it, would you do anything different? What would you do different? Obviously, you would do something different.
If I were to ever go back, I would not. I would refuse to be taken out for filming. So I would act like I didn't want anything to do with the production or whatever. They'd have to find a creative way to pull me out. Say I was like a diabetic and needed to go see the doctor or something to do interviews. I would sneak everything I possibly could into the jail and barter with. I would definitely bring cigarettes for sure. It's a huge barter item. Stock up more on candy, because when the drugs aren't in the jail, the inmates will look for people who have Jolly Ranchers and candy because they need something sweet for their for when they're eating their air biscuits. They need something sweet. So I would take all the knowledge I have now, stock up on candy so I have things to trade with, sneak in cigarettes so I have things to trade with, not be nice to production. They'd have to go above and beyond to pull me out, and definitely come up with a better reason that would put me doing the crime locally instead of a federal warrant.
Yeah, because you had a federal thing for stealing money or something like that, right? Something along those lines, a financial crime. Was that what it was?
It was a military crime. I was selling. Man, it was so well thought out too. That's what sucks. So the Army was transitioning from the Digicamo to the new OCPs at the time. So we were taking and selling a lot of our equipment to Army surplus stores that were Digicamo, which is kind of where we take all of our things whenever we don't need them anymore. So my crime was that I was pocketing money that I was selling all of the military gear to the Army surplus stores, and I was pocketing the money. And I got caught up with that, which would have worked because in Gadsden they had an Army National Guard. They had like an Army depot there. So I could have had reason to be in town had I known where I was going to jail. They did not tell me where I was going to jail until I was arrested. I had no idea I was going to Etowah County, Alabama. So I wasn't able to properly do my research. And then I could have placed myself, like, say I was in Gadsden at the Army depot. I don't know any of y'all, but I have reason to be in the town. Not having reason to be in the town was the biggest red flag.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And are the prisoners just looking for excuses to call you out as not being a cop? Like, I don't understand. It's like, if I'm in jail, like, I don't give a shit what you got in jail for, or what you did, or like, nor would I question it. Are they just so used to like confidential informants being in jail that they're paranoid?
So they had been, the camera crew had been there for a while. And so the rumor that it was 60 days in had been going around. So they had been looking and waiting for people who didn't belong to come in. I was very, very lucky that I am very gifted in the fine art of verbal judo and de-escalation, that I actually didn't get my ass beat for being, a narc, because they knew exactly what I was and why I was there. But they hated the guards so much that they would come and tell me things they wanted me to report. Like, hey, I know you're not going to tell me that you're 60 days in, but when you get out, will you go and tell them that Ms. Williams did this and that I need to be in the GED program? And I'm like, yes, shut up.
Dude, that one guy
So
that you were on the show with.
Advantage. Sorry.
Do what?
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say that the tall guy, that the other guy that went on the show with you, the quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm halfway into season 6, and I fucking hate that guy. Like, I don't know him as personally, but he looks like a huge piece of shit. Like, doing pull-ups in the thing. Like, what a chotch bag. I hope he gets his ass whooped. Does he get his ass whooped in that?
Can't do spoiler alerts.
I want you to be. He gets his pee-pee smacked by Chief Peak. So I don't know if you got to that point.
No,
They
my
do- they
uncle,
do have
my
an
uncle just
encounter.
walked upstairs and mooned me because that's what you do when you're in your early 40s
Is
and
that
you're a grown ass
that's
man.
your special uncle?
Moon people.
Oh, by the way, I found one still shot from security cam when Tansey visited jail.
Oh,
So I want to show that to everyone. It wasn't the shot that I had before. You were in red leather pants in the other one, so I don't know how you were smuggling all these leather pants in, Tansey, but that was a still shot from the CCTV.
very kinky. I like the zipper in the back for easy access. I would definitely wear my underwear backwards, so like the hole is backwards, so that
for sure.
when I sat down, I didn't have to
Grab
take my
that
pants
pocket.
off I don't like to take my pants off when I poop, so I put the boxers on backwards so I can just shit out the hole. That's an old St. James Street, St. James tactic there.
Ashley, you seem, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, like you seem to be more focused from your I guess what you seem to want to accomplish by doing this. You seemed much more focused on the staff, as far as like, especially the Miss Williams situation and that whole thing. You seem much more focused on the professionalism or lack thereof of the staff than you did being too concerned about what was moving in and out with prisoners. So talk to us about that goal of yours or focus of yours.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't feel like there is any hierarchy in law enforcement. Whether you're corrections, a state trooper, a regular cop, school cop, we all have the same mission, and we're all part of the law enforcement family. So I see corrections officers as my peers. I was one at one point in time. That's where I started before I started law enforcement. And I don't care what the inmates are doing. Inmates are going to do what they're going to do. They're criminals. They're in jail. I don't care. If you're in there doing drugs in jail, I don't care. If you're in there having sex with other inmates, I don't care, because you're going to do whatever you're going to do. It's up to the staff to put a stop to that, to investigate that, and to make sure everybody stays safe. So it's not having the drugs in the jail is not that the inmates have for funsies. It's a safety issue to prevent overdoses, to prevent to prevent violence. If somebody wants to steal something like that, it's so much bigger than just, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look for dope today, or I'm going to collect dope and I'm going to give it to the sheriff to show that there's dope here. We know that there's dope here. We have to put a stop to it. And the fact that some of the jail staff would find weed and just like laugh about it and I'm just going to take this, don't you do it again or I'll write you up, and not treat it seriously. The inmates are walking all over the jail staff. I'm of a belief that corrections officers need to be paid better and they need to be trained harder. And they need to be cycled out, because they're locked up just as much as we are. And the isolation gets to them too. So they need to be cycled out more. They need to not have to work the same unit so much, because we had one guard that would sit there and let an inmate braid her hair. Like, so you've got an inmate with their hands right by your neck getting your hair braided. Like, have you lost your mind? We just had a corrections officer at that time murdered in our community a couple of weeks prior to me going to jail myself. So I'm of a mind that I don't want anybody behind me. I don't want anybody with their hands near my neck, especially if I'm, wearing the uniform, being the officer. Very dangerous.
No kidding.
So I was concerned for their safety. I was concerned for their lack of care of the inmates. And then I was concerned mostly with the desire to abuse the power, which is what we saw with Miss Williams, who really enjoyed the fact that she could wage psychological warfare on us. It was very that was very scary to me, because it's just who does that.
Yeah, I couldn't, again, with perception not being reality, I couldn't tell. I always assume that TV is fooling me from what's really going on, right? You've been a cop for
Mm-hmm.
long enough to know the same thing. Like when something you've been involved with hits the news or it's, televised, you're like, no, they got that wrong. They got this wrong. They got that wrong. And that's what prompted my initial question about 60 Days in the first place. I'm like, all right, is this giving me an accurate view of what's going on with this or not? Like what are they feeding me and they want me to think versus what actually is happening? Because it made it look like Miss Williams was just like a freaking way over the top. I couldn't quite grasp if she was like that day in and day out, or if this was just some situation that boiled over and kind of like you captured like one little moment on one night that she kind of lost her professionalism or whatever.
No, it was over the course of several nights that this took place. So it started with, she wanted me to be a trustee, first of all, which was weird. So she's the one that made me a trustee. Also, to go back about the perception of corrections officers, there were some in there that were amazing and really genuinely cared and wanted to do a good job and were excited and proud to come to work. Unfortunately, those people are not going to be featured because it doesn't make for good TV. So I don't want to take away from the corrections officers at Etowah County who are there working hard, doing their job, keeping people safe. They're amazing. And I made sure to let Sheriff Horton know about them. But man, Miss Williams, that shit went on. It started on Mother's Day, where she wouldn't let us come out for evening rec. Again, we only get 3 precious hours a day. And one of those hours is in the evening where we get to take our showers. So she was letting people come out in 15-minute groups to take a quick shower and then go back in the cell. At this point, I had stopped showering because there was a woman who was emptying her colonoscopy bag in the shower. So I was taking a whore bath in the combo toilet sink in my room. It's not a nice clean place. And I was a trustee, so I knew this. I'm the one cleaning up the shit. So I know that what I'm seeing of people peeing and shaving their buttholes and like shitting in the shower is like a real thing. And I'm gonna go in my cell and I'm gonna take my little whore bath with my little washcloth and my little toilet sink combo and wash myself down. It's
You were going to say shave your butthole.
Yeah, shave your
That's what they
butthole
were-
in the
like,
privacy
I'm-
of your own cell.
I mean, well, we didn't have razors in there. Well, some girls were stealing razors, but that was
How are
one
they
line I
shaving?
wasn't
How are
gonna
they
cross.
shaving their butthole with no razor?
Well, you would get a razor every Saturday. On Saturday, you would be given a disposable razor once a week to shave, and they would be in there, like it would be a crowded open bay shower, and women would be in there shaving their private parts. And I'm just kind of like, first of all, I'm terrified of hepatitis. That's like my number one biggest fear. So I'm not going to shave. I'm not even shaving my
that's a fair
armpits.
top 5 fear.
Yeah. So I'm not shaving my armpits or anything in there, which I'll have to text you a picture of my
Please
armpit hair
don't.
growth.
Please don't do that.
Oh no, you need to see it. It's my gift
No.
to you.
Mike,
So-
speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Ashley, send me that picture.
I will. I'm going to send it to Tansey, but I'm including Mike in the group chat. But I sent it to my boss as soon as I got released. Was like, hey, with like my armpit hair growth, because I wasn't shaving anything because hepatitis.
Hey, then your beat partner, like you get out and he picks you up in the airport and he sees your armpit hair and he's like, never
That's
mind,
fine.
I've got something else to do, so I'm just gonna leave you here at the airport. Take an Uber. Here's some cash.
Oh no,
All right,
see, that's
before
not
we-
the worst thing.
Before we
Yes.
dive into a lot more of the listener, viewer questions, as well as anything else you got, Tansey, we need to make sure that we thank our other sponsor for this particular episode, Aura, AURA, Aura Information Security, and this came up.
Potatoes.
This came up this week. I had a lot of you guys know I do real estate now, so we had some clients. We had a closing, and they accidentally set their closing package on top of a car and then drove away. And the packet with their name, their birth dates, their social security numbers is God knows where now. No, we don't know where it's at. They spent 2 hours trying to search for it on the side of the road between the title company and home. And my recommendation was, hey, I have a solution to help try to protect you from future issues. Aura, baby. AURA.
Potatoes, Aura, Aurora. It doesn't matter how you say it. The security is the same. Just kidding. But listen, and Ashley, you could probably
More
attest to
secure
this.
than Etowah County Jail.
Aura. Yeah. There's no unlocked doors at Aura. But, look, Ashley, you can attest to this. Between all the photos, all the things, all the email photos that you were sending back and forth to your internet lover back at the department, all the little email sex chats that you got going on, you gotta keep
Uncle
that stuff
Dougie.
locked. Yeah. Oh, Uncle. Yeah. What was his name? Was it Uncle Doug?
No, I'm not telling you because y'all are legitimately going to get me fired. Like, this is shared on my Facebook page.
Uncle Dave.
Be
Uncle
prepared to
Doug.
pay my salary. when
Uncle
this
Robbie.
happens.
We'll
Today
just
my
change
armpit
names.
hair grew.
Names
to
are changed to
over-
protect the innocent.
I like what you're doing there, Mike. That's fine with me. That's fine.
Yeah. Today, Uncle Dougie, my armpit hair grew to over 3 inches.
I'm terrified.
But between all
Someone
of
snuggle me in some braids for this armpit hair. I need decorative beads. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, did you wear like a prison Mike purple thing on your head, like the purple bandana?
The worst part of Etowah County was the Dementors.
Yeah, the ghoul. But anyway, with all those things that you got going on, you gotta keep yourself digitally safe. You've got the cameras in your home, you got the security that keeps your house safe. But I mean, let's go. You gotta keep your social media, you gotta keep your email, you gotta keep your online presence locked down, especially when you're getting tons of hate mail. Like you probably are going to start getting now that you're all out there and getting into movies and all these other things. The credit card companies, they do a good job of protecting you against fraudulent purchases. But what if a scammer files for unemployment in your name? Or what if your social media accounts get hacked? Or its protection goes well beyond your credit card. Between your photos, finances, devices, connections, your world is more online now than ever. You may have the security systems in place for real life, but what about your on life? Aura can sound the alarm if your digital presence is at risk. With Aura, you'll get alerted to fraud and threats fast, like your online accounts or passwords were leaked online, or someone tries to open a bank account in your name. All these things. We're seeing that whole thing happen in Poland right now as that case is unfolding there as well. Aura is easy to set up. All plans come with $1 million in identity theft insurance to help recover your stolen funds, and experienced U.S.-based customer support has your back. Aura is a new type of security service that protects all of your online information and devices with one simple subscription. With an easy online dashboard and alerts sent straight to your phone, Aura keeps you in control and guides you through solving issues. For a limited time, Aura is offering our listeners 40% off plans when you visit aura.com/wolfpack. Go to aura.com/wolfpack to complete protection to get complete protection and savings of up to 40%. That's aura.com/wolfpack. Here's a real scary statistic for you. Every 10 seconds, someone becomes a victim of fraud or identity theft. What's even worse is that 23% of those don't get any of their money back after the attack. If you think it could never happen to you, you're wrong. It could. You could be the next target. Aura can help you. Guys, get that safe, that peace of mind. I'm so glad that we brought Aura on and that our network did this, because now our social media is all over this place. I'm managing like 5 different social media accounts, plus the one for my personal business and still distilling company. Mike's got all his stuff going on with real estate and his woodworking stuff and with Relentless Defender. People are going to want to get at that. If you're making money, people want to get at it. They want to have what you have. So get yourself protected, wrap yourself up with Aura.
Zentz is not happy in the chat. He came back. Identity theft is not a joke. I came back and I got a GD ad.
Sorry, Zentz.
Zentz wasn't too
it was
happy.
the best GD ad you ever heard, homeboy.
Mark is in the chat. It says a lot of editing goes on in the show. You'd be surprised. I imagine she provided a lot of info, because someone had asked if the chief, Craig had said the chief at the end said Ashley didn't provide a lot of info. Did that info just not reach the final edit? And then Mark hopped in and said a lot of editing. You'd be surprised. I imagine she provided a lot. He was in season 5. You don't see 99% of the stuff that actually happens, which makes sense. You got 24 hours a day, and you've got a show that you need to boil down. You're not all of it's going to make it in there. But again, your focus was on the staff, and I felt like you provided a ton of information about Miss Williams. You were the one sort of like spearheading, like, hey, someone needs to be made aware of how this woman was treating people. So what is your take on the information you were able to provide versus maybe how they portrayed it?
I wrote kind of like a 10 pages worth of notes that I presented at the briefing that I had with the sheriff, and
Yeah.
it was an absolute shit ton of information. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but I think he was maybe coached to say that because
Sure.
I get along great with him, and like I said I'm friends with his wife and all of their families, and they're genuinely good people, and I think they hated it. They hated the filming stuff. So I don't know why he said that. He may have been coached to say that. But I wrote like I need to like release it like almost like my manifesto. Like these are all the notes that I had.
Yeah.
Like place it online because I brought so much information back right down to like the timing of the meals to determine how you can check for when there are drugs in the facility, which guards are doing their jobs. Like I had a list of with date and time stamps so they could go back to their own security cameras and see the guards doing this behavior, like all of them. Even the guard, like you had an inmate that was about to suicide dive off the second floor, and the guard
Right.
saying they're not doing anything, and I had to go in and de-escalate. So it's just
Well, what's funny about that is one of the worst incidents, of my life. When I was a police officer and my leg was broken and my partner was hit by a car at 57 miles an hour, just a very crazy thing that we've talked about, I think maybe in the first or second episode of this series. But that gentleman, and you can look him up online. His name is Maxwell Mitchell from Raleigh, but he swan dove like the night before on Sunday night, the night before our trial. He swan dove off of the second floor and committed suicide that way. And I always thought to myself, how is one able just to jump off a fucking balcony in jail?
and now you see how they can do
Like
it.
we
With
put
the
those little
spoilers,
chain
Tansey
things
hasn't
on the
gotten to
bridge.
that episode.
Yeah. So like, you know how like on the bridge, they put those like chain link fence that kind of like curve around so you can't jump off of the bridge. Why don't they do that in the balconies in jail? So like just put like a little fence up there and people can't jump off the thing.
Probably because it costs money.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the guy that runs the jail won't be able to pocket on the extra money that's left over.
That was the old sheriff. The new sheriff
I
doesn't
know.
do that. Yes.
I know.
I have to
So
defend him. He's my friend. I have to stick up for my people.
Yeah, get up on your people. Now, do they take you out for a night? Like, so I'm feeling like if you just sent my ass to fucking jail for 60 days,
Yeah, is it like Survivor where you get an awesome meal or something like that?
you're taking my ass to a steak dinner afterwards.
And that was probably the shittiest thing afterwards because I was evacuated, I guess, at the very end. They like
Yeah, you were
"No,
crying in the
you're gonna
hotel too, you crier.
Deal with it.
Mike would have cried hard worse than like anybody else because they would have like served him mayonnaise and he'd be like, I don't eat mayonnaise. I need to do
Yeah,
jujitsu.
I would have been bitching.
Like,
I would
can
have started a
somebody-
jiu-jitsu club in the
Can
library.
somebody come roll with me? Can somebody come roll on top of me for a few minutes? I miss having another man just roll all over me.
Brings back memories, doesn't it, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
so
they didn't take you out for dinner at the end of the show?
No, I didn't get anything nice.
You don't
That
even
was
get like a
very
medal,
sad.
like a T-shirt. Like here's a T-shirt.
I
60
survived
days
Etowah
in.
County.
Yeah, something.
Nothing.
That sucks.
I did get to be on Access Hollywood. So there was that. But I didn't get to meet AJ is it AJ Slater? What is it? What's his name? Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez?
That's all I wanted. I was like, if you're gonna
AC
put
Slater?
me on yeah, if you're gonna put me on Access Hollywood, I need to meet Mario Lopez. I'm not gonna do it.
And of all the actors, out of all the low end actors, like, cause he's not even like, he's not like a real great actor or anything like that. But like the semi famous actors, I think he's kind of one of the biggest douches. Like he wears so much fucking makeup, shaves every hair on every part of his body. Like his whole life is around clout and
he's not in control. Hey, I know some people that know him, and they all have good things to say.
Really?
Well, good.
Dude, I've never met him, so I just like looking at him and hearing like some of the things he says. I'm just like, God, dude, how do you exist?
I haven't met
You were
any
AC
celebrity
Slater,
yet.
bro. You were AC Slater, man.
He's super cool. You need to put
He
some
said he
respect at
spends
the end
like
of that name.
he says he spends like 16 hours a week just shaving because he shaves every hair on his body.
He doesn't spend 16 hours a week.
Dude,
shaving.
what? Yes, he does. That's why. Watch the whole thing.
Well, he would have a hard time in lockup than 60 days in because you ain't shaving your butthole very well with one. You're not doing 16 hours of shaving with a disposable.
He shaves
blade.
his entire body every single day.
You're not gonna make it. He wouldn't make it. He wouldn't survive.
Hey, real quick, I want to thank the king of super chats in here to Mr. Hagnar the Viking. He definitely appreciates the fact that I like the show Vikings and hate Game of Thrones. So thank you so much for the super chat. So I
I've got
appreciate
a-
Is that the
supporting
$200
the
one?
channel. Yeah,
I got a
That
huge
was
shout out
awesome.
that I've got to do as well. And I totally forgot. I'm glad you did that. Because I'm a huge piece of shit and I forget things like this. But oh my God. Keep talking, guys. Let me find. Oh no, I found it right
What's
here.
wrong
So
with you?
nope, that's Chris Hamilton. Nope. I gotta sing Chris Hamilton a shirt, by the way. That's
You've
what I got like these
you've
little
got problems,
reminders
man.
on my phone. Tyler Wren. How do you say this name? Rein? Ren. Tyler Wren. Looks, definitely a first responder here. We're now frenzies on the social.
Tyler's been a loyal follower, friendly type for quite a number of years. He's a good guy.
But this is the first time it's ever happened to me, so this is like really special. But I get, because I've been getting a lot of these messages, humble brag, lots of messages, and it's a weird world it's a weird sim world that I'm living in right now. But this gentleman sends me an email. And like I blow it off. I'm like, oh, cool. Send me an email, because like everybody wants something from me. So like most people are like emailing me to get a free shirt or emailing me to get a free bottle of rum. And it's like, I'm just over. I mean, I don't mind sending some stuff, but like
I don't even have a bottle of rum yet.
It's not even on top of my priority to be sending free shit to everybody. But so I'm just expecting like some kind of email that's probably going to be like, hey, will you support my, my starving cousin's 5K wishes or something like that. But he sends me $69 gift card, which he knows me because that's my favorite number of all time, 69.
Of course it is.
And he sent me a $69 gift card to buy stuff for my new child, which I took that $69 and I took myself out for a nice steak dinner. Fuck that kid. It's my fourth one. I don't care about it. You know what I mean? I don't care. It's a fourth child. So, but thank you for that $69. I 35 of it went to a steak and the other went to appetizers.
A bag of diapers.
No. My wife take care of that. It was appetizers.
Do you guys use disposable diapers, or do you use?
We used to on
I feel like you and your wife would be more of like the hippie style, like where you have the cloth diapers or whatever.
Our first child that we care the most about, our firstborn, we did the cloth diapers with him the entire time.
And you were like a trustee in jail, just having to clean up people's shit.
They did finger paint. Two of my children did finger paint in the cribs with shit. My third kid, we didn't love him at all, so he didn't even have a crib. Like that. Elkin never even saw a crib, so he went straight to a bed.
Poor baby.
But yeah. So your first kid, you care a lot about. The middle child, you don't care anything about. The third child's cute because it's the baby. I don't know what the fourth child's going to bring. The fourth child's more or less going to be like just kind of like a slave that lives in a shed. It doesn't even have a name, and it doesn't even know that it's really human. It doesn't get to see the outside world. It's brought in to do dishes and clean the house and do things like that. And then
it's your Harry Potter child.
Yeah, it's a Harry Potter child. More like a Sling Blade child. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. All right, let's look to the comments here. Maybe try to find some questions that people have wanted to be asking. I know that there's been some getting dropped in here, but I'll have to leave that to the underpaid producer to find them. But I wanted to also know how many times were you ever crying alone in your cell, or did you only cry on camera?
Only on camera. Well, I cry.
Are you normally a crier? Are you a crier in general? Are you crying? Are you crying in uniform at every call you go to?
Well, In the Arms of the Angels plays in the background in my car as I slow drive away from the scene. That's how I normally set the mood. So. How many pounds of cheese? Did I just get called fat? I don't know.
No, that's
Lastro Lopez. He asked that of everyone. He's asked it of me. I don't remember what I estimated at 113 pounds, maybe. I think is my estimation. I'm not sure. Probably a lot more than that actually in my lifetime. But yeah, that's his standard go-to question.
Yeah, it's Lastro Lopez. You can never be offended by anything that Lastro says.
Bless his heart. Sorry,
but his Instagram is incredible. So.
What were the inmate COs told about the camera crew? Why did they think they were there?
I cannot answer that one.
Okay.
We will keep
well, I think they usually tell
Tyler.
the inmates that they're making a documentary, right? And then they pull people out for interviews as a piece of the production. This is common knowledge if you watch the show. So they're told that there's a documentary being filmed, so that they try to have an explanation for why cameras are there. And I guess it is a documentary.
You can answer it. Docuseries is what A&E
I can
calls
answer
it.
that. yeah, that's it.
So
And
definitely losing my job and I'm being sued. All thanks to you guys.
yep.
Do you know what happened to the CO that refused to provide clothing to the prisoners? Oh, she was fired in June of 2019, and last I heard she was working at the Dollar General. So
Hell
Dollar.
yeah. Hell
Yes.
yeah. You ever just like walk back in there and just like make her ring up a bunch of shit? Because we all know like how shitty like the registers are and everything at Dollar General, and how shitty that they're trained and paid. So you just go in there and like ring up a bunch of randos, like stuff that doesn't even have like price tag, like the scanners on them. So they got to walk back there and try to figure out what it's cost, and then just be like, on second thought, I don't want any of this.
If I could, I would, but she's like
Dude,
9
I'll do it
hours
for
away.
you. I'll do it. It's worth it. Let's do it. 9
When
hour
you guys
road
go
trip.
on your when you guys go on your like tour of the world morale tour, stop at
Yeah.
Etowah County.
We'll do that.
For
How do
me.
you
Alright.
keep
Do
it
it
a
for me.
secret? How do you keep it a secret now that some inmates are aware of the show? She's not still in
feel like-
prison, Amber.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple years, over 2 years.
It's
it's been a while.
been a while. Yeah, I still get asked all the time, like, how are you holding up with your divorce? And I'm like, good. I don't know.
When you first messaged me, because I had just watched the show, and I'm like, oh, you got divorced. And then I see your Instagram, and there was some like recent photos of you being married. I'm like, oh, maybe they worked it out. I don't know what happened. Different guy.
No, I became a statistic. Yes. Tell me the women in your experience. Would the women in jail have been better served through drug treatment, mental health care, or education, job training? Do you want to sit here for a few minutes? Because this is like one of my biggest things that
Well, if it's one of your biggest things, we want to hear about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We want to
No,
hear about
I mean-
what your take is on this.
I abhor them putting mentally ill people in jail. And this, okay, so whenever you try to do an emergency detention on somebody, you take them to the hospital. You take them, the criteria for an emergency detention is if they're a danger to themselves or others. So that means that they may be self-harming or they may be attempting to harm others during their state of psychosis. We will take them to the hospital, and the hospital will reject them because they don't want to deal with violent people in the ER. They'll assault a nurse or something, and they're like, I want to press charges. So then you take somebody who's in mental health crisis. You have to take them to jail because somebody wants to press charges. It's a felony that's occurred in your presence. Like, I mean, you have to. So you take them up to the jail. They're put in an isolation. They're not medicated. And if they are attempting to medicate, nobody's observing what they're doing with their pills. So they're either trading their pills or they're hoarding their pills. Or, I mean, it is a very sick cycle of it makes me sad because I look at people like Sierra, who is mentally ill, who is self-medicating with drugs, who goes into jail for public intoxication, gets locked up, put in isolation. Nobody's there to bond her out. So she's there for weeks on like a PI charge, stuck for 23 hours a day, no books, no entertainment, all by herself, trading her medication for meth. And it's just sad. It's the saddest thing. It bothers me. Yes, we would totally benefit from drug treatment, but where is it? Show me where we're putting those on.
I think the biggest part of this, and since you're getting a master's degree in this kind of thing, I always thought that mental health, the programs are just simply check the box programs where they're literally trying to cover their own asses and just check the block and get people out, which is actually doing absolutely nothing. I think the mental health system, I think all these like Holly Hills and these weight crisis and these little crisis centers, I think they're all a sham. I think they're all a scam. And I would be venturing to say that I bet you they don't help 2% of human beings because they're more focused on checking the block and getting people the fuck out than they are actually taking the time. And I get it. There's a lot of people going through there. There's a lot going on, but there's got to be a better way. And it can't just be bureaucratic red tape, check the block and get them out, because that's just, it does nothing except waste tax dollars. And look, these doctors and stuff, they're getting paid. They're getting paper. They're getting insurance money out the wazoo. These guys are making money hand over their foot and they're not doing anything for anybody.
Yeah.
And why would they? I mean, if we're going to take away, like, so if we're being defunded, if we want to like make this super political, like all defunding the police and defunding law enforcement agencies does, like when you defund sheriff's departments, is taking away from any type of programs that could be going towards crisis intervention training and de-escalation training and things like that that can benefit people in mental health crisis and maybe talk them into going to the hospital, keeping them calm while they're at the hospital so they can be transported to psychiatric facilities instead of sending some rookie with zero training because they had to rush him out of police academy really fast to get him on the streets because we're short staffed, to deal with the mentally ill guy and talk him into fighting somebody. I mean, it all is one big revolving cycle of that all boils down to we're getting our hands tied behind our backs, and we can't help people the way that they need to be helped.
No.
Somebody asked a really good question, and I answer this, and then I want to come back. Like, let's not ask another question because I want to come back to something that I want to bring up about this mental health thing and fairness. But Titan Uranus. As our Uranus here, a Titan Uranus. How, if at all, has being on that show changed the way you police? I think it's a really good question.
So it did not change the way I policed, as in like, oh, now I'm kinder, gentler of a cop. It didn't change that. It made me more empathetic to people. Like when people run, when people flee, I'm maybe not such a douche to them. When I catch them, it's like, no, I totally get it. If I was about to go back to jail, I would run too. Absolutely. I would do everything I could to not be arrested because it's always like, man, why would you run? Why would you get yourself an extra felony charge over some misdemeanor crap? Idiot. Now I get it. So I can relate to that a little bit better. When I take people to the jail, if it's during a mealtime or if they're going to miss a mealtime, I'll always request for them to get food because I know what it's like to be hungry in there and to miss a meal in there. So I'll make sure when they get there, they get something to eat. I take a few extra seconds, maybe let them make a phone call before we head to the jail. Maybe let them call their job, let their job know that that they're headed to jail. Kind of give their boss a little bit of heads up. I've helped people save their careers like that. Instead of being no call, no shows, taking the extra. I am in no rush to get somebody to the jail. There is no need there is no need for me to throw somebody in the back of the car and haul ass to the jail when I can take an extra 5-10 minutes. Hey, if you need to call somebody, are your kids getting ready? Do you need to pick your kids up from school? Can we call somebody to make sure they're coming to get your kids? Because going to jail can ruin somebody's life in an instant. And as officers need to take that into consideration, that we're actually dealing with real human beings and we don't need to make the decision to take them to jail lightly. And if we can prevent them from losing their jobs or losing their kids or kind of, give them an opportunity to call somebody who might have bail money for them. Like there's no reason why we can't do that. If they're going to be a dick to us, I'm not going to do anybody any favors. If you're going to sit there and be rude to me and degrade me, I'm not going to coddle you and try to make you feel good when clearly nothing I say or do, I'm not going to bend over backwards to help you. But there are things that I can do. And if somebody truly needs help, I'm happy to take that extra few minutes and do that for them. So
That's great.
That's kind of how it changed.
That's kind of like the joys though also is like you're part of a smaller department. For us, it's if we're going to make 3 arrests a day, 3 arrests a night. If you're not going to jail 3 times in a 12-hour shift, you were either on special assignment and you were the watcher, or you're a shammer and everybody's going to hate you because that was our job. So, but for us, if you were taking too long going to the jail, your phone was blowing up with texts like, yo, what are you doing? You need to clear the jail. You need to get out of there. Let's go. Get back on the street. We're getting hammered out here, So for us, and it's weird because I never thought about these things until you said it. But yeah, for me, I was more of like an emotionally shut off thing. Like, okay, you're going to get jail. Get in the back of my car. Shut up. Nope. I'm sorry. Your phone's dead. That's your fault. Like everything is your fault. It's all your problem. I don't have time to deal with you. And I pass them off. I think now, like hearing your story and kind of hearing what you have to go through, that maybe if I was a cop, I would have taken a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of people have phrased the questions different ways about seeing people who are struggling with mental health awareness, and then what should we do with them? What would people who are out there committing crimes but who are in a state of mentally where they are a risk to harming themselves or others, and we call that petitioning here. So like we would petition people and it'd be like, well, I mean, that they're either going to kill themselves or they're going to hurt. I mean, we all know suicidal can turn homicidal pretty quick and snap back and forth. But you petition them in, and again, the hospital doesn't want to deal with them. You end up with people that no one wants to deal with, so they just end up in jail. What would the solution be? And I'm going to play devil's advocate here, which is that when we start talking about, well, people that go to jail, we're gonna give them an education, we're going to create an environment to better their lives, or we're going to give them all of the counseling that they need, or whatever. When we start thinking about solutions, I think a lot of people then have like a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, which is like, well, wait a second. No one gave me educational opportunities, and I'm not out there committing crimes. No one. I've got issues in my life. Maybe I want to talk to somebody, but my insurance doesn't cover it, so I don't get that either. So now you're telling me that all you got to do is go steal some shit from Walmart, and now you're going to get free mental health, and I'm sitting here working my 9 to 5, being a good member of society. I struggle, but I can't get that coverage? I don't think so. So how do you in your mind, with your experiences in this, balance these things? What's your solution or kind of concepts of where we should be headed directionally with that?
So that all has to be resolved at the elementary school level. You have to go all the way back to the moment in time where people become good people or they become bad people. And that is during your childhood. So there is no answer for a solution once you become an adult. There is no way to resolve it right now without significant funding and a whole lot of retraining at a national level. My solution, and I've thought long and hard about this, is to get more than just guidance counselors in the schools. You need to have actual clinical therapists in the schools. You need to allot time for children to go and talk to someone. You need to advocate more for anti-drug, anti-bullying programs instead of just doing a fun little red ribbon week, like, oh, let's wear a funny hat because drugs suck. Like that truly does nothing. And I'm sorry.
That makes me want to do drugs. When I see that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing drugs because
we have to. It has to go all the way back to the point when you're a child and your brain is developing, and you're going to find out if you're going to be a good person or not a good person, and focus on the well-being of these children. Because I will tell you, there are so many houses I'll go to during disturbances, and I've always said this, I can tell which child is going to grow up to have severe problems based on how they react to the police coming to the house. I'll go to the house, and the children that see me arrive and immediately go to put on their shoes because they know they're about to get snatched out of their beds at 11 p.m. because mommy and daddy want to fist fight each other. Those are the kids that I already know are going to have issues. If you're not crying when the police come to your house because you're scared, if you're not freaking out because mommy and daddy are fighting and you're conditioned to this, I already know at that point that you are a mentally damaged child and somebody has got to help you. But I can't help you because there's a roof over your head and there's food and your refrigerator and you're not bruised yourself. You're not being beaten. Emotional abuse isn't a reason for CPS to remove a child or for there to be any involvement. And it's sad. And so my solution is, I'm preaching. Sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
But it's like, it has to go, the only way to fix this has to go back to when they're children, and we need to reinvest in mental health stuff for public schools, and we need to get law enforcement more involved in public schools and let kids get to know cops and stuff.
Do you feel that, I mean, like, societally, we look at the inner cities of major places when we think Detroit, St. Louis, LA, New York, all of these places have historically had the most money dumped into the education system that continues to show that it's failing. So when we think about going back to elementary school, how much of that do you think would be good there versus another? I mean,
putting iPads into schools and upgrading computer screens and making it more accessible, or having like more nutritious food in the lunch line does nothing if you're not going to teach principles, morals, or
that's where I'm going with this. Is like, when you think about what's really the issue, and I haven't spent 60 days in jail. I've spent enough time around criminals, people who have been career criminals. I've been around them a lot, and 100% consistently, there is an issue that starts. I think my thing is fatherhood, not just parenting, but specifically fatherhood, or the absence of a healthy mother-father dynamic. And this is obviously a whole topic that we could have a whole podcast devoted to this. But do you see that consistently with your conversations for however many days? Because how many days were you in there?
I was in there 42 days.
So in your 42 days of experience, day in and day out with these prisoners, what percentage would you say had issues going back to the home from the beginning at the core?
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
There was not one well brought up child in there. And if they were, they didn't talk to me. They minded their business. But like to touch on what Tansey said about upgrading things during that 7.5 hours the kids are at school, after school programs, before school programs, and weekend programs. That is the easiest solution.
Yeah, it's not going to the ghetto and building a $2 or $3 million YMCA there that you have to be checked in, checked out. Your
that
parents
doesn't solve the issue.
Ton of problems. I mean, like those are the programs. If they had good parents, they would have already had them in programs. They would have already filled out the paperwork and put them in. What you need are day centers that you literally can just walk in and walk right out. Because these kids don't have supervision anyway. So the fact that we have to have their parents come down to sign them in and to sign them out is ridiculous. It's not going to happen. CPS,
have the bus pick them up at 5:30 in the morning, and then the bus drop them back off at the house at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, sure, right. And then at least they're getting fed and they're getting some sort of discipline there. But and then you pile on the mental health system, which is a joke. Then CPS, which unfortunately, I think CPS, it's not that CPS workers are a joke, but it's the system that they have to work in is a joke. I mean, you do nothing for children, right? Like you don't get to save any children being a CPS worker. Instead, what you do is you find excuses on why cops can't remove kids from their parents. When as a cop, you're not an idiot. We're not like some kind of non-sympathetic or non-empathetic monster that wants to steal. Like I have kids. I know what it's like. I know when I walk into a home and a kid knows that he would be safer and better in a better place. Those are the kids that you want to take, and you can. I mean, a crib could, I had an incident where the crib was full of beer cans, and I literally was holding this child trying to arrest the parents, trying to set this child down in the only crib that was in the house, and there were too many beer cans. I had to get another officer to remove beer cans so that I could put this kid down. I called CPS. CPS were like, "Oh, well, having beer cans in a crib, there's nothing wrong with that." I'm like, "Oh, well," and the gang affiliated parents that have tattoos all over their faces, gang colors all over the place. There's fuck the police spray painted in their living room. There's mold growing out of the light sockets, which in that case I got written up because I told the guy said, "You must really hate us." And I said, "Man, I don't hate you. I think you're disgusting, but I don't hate you." And another lieutenant that was there that was not from our district sent that up the chain of command that I called somebody disgusting, and I was reprimanded by it. But
well, you're in school now, Ashley, right?
Yes.
What are you getting your master's in?
Clinical mental health counseling. So I will be a licensed therapist upon my completion of school.
What would you do if you were to if LeBron James sat down in front of you right now? What would you say to him? Because obviously there's some issues there. Break it down. I'm LeBron. No, Mike's LeBron. You're her. Go ahead.
Be a lot of reflecting. We would have to do a lot of self-reflection and kind of repeat back to him what he is saying and how he responds to situations so he can hear it himself and see if that leads to any realizations within his heart. And that's how we fix him. Just listen to what you're saying and let me send it back to you.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That sounds so that's a calming strategy.
I hope nobody does that to me. I'd be really embarrassed.
They probably do it to you all the time. I could sit here and do it to you and you wouldn't even notice. Just gently reflecting back the content.
Well, the thing is, I think with this push for social workers to respond to certain things, what we need, what I think we need are people with police experience that then move from that experience into specialized areas. like mental health response or engagement, instead of taking people who are naive that get a psychology degree or a social work degree or anything in that mental health side of things, and then put them into the criminal element. Because I think that there's something that being a cop changes the way that you see the world around you. Most people are very naive to the depths of evil or kilteredness. I don't know what, that's not even a word, that happens to people that is in underneath society from a way that you just don't see it day to day. Even in small town, quiet communities, a lot of people are like, that happens here? And you're like, yeah. Well, if you're a cop seeing it all the time, like, you're like, man, this changes the way I see things. And I think if we take mental health professionals and then stick them into the law enforcement environment, I don't think it works very well, because they bring a naive perception into a world that they're trying to apply a fix that doesn't work that way. And you have, but I think that there's a tremendous difference taking a police officer who has seen that and been experienced in dealing with those who are committing crimes and sort of like the mindset and experiences of those that they're alongside for their career, and then adding in an understanding of the psychological element and then applying that in that case. So I don't know the long-term solution, but it's not just bringing people from the outside in. We have to grow a culture of handling the mental aspect of this and the social aspect of this from the inside out.
100%. And you said it earlier, how quickly suicidal can turn to homicidal, and being trained to know the difference between the two. Because when somebody's walking up and down the road with a gun held to their head, how many times have we seen, just in our years of experience and watching videos on the internet, has that suicidal person pointed the gun at the cops to get suicide by cop? How many times have they pulled the trigger as well at the cops? It's happened. And somebody who is not prepared to be calm in that moment and to make decisions has no business being out there, because then we're just going to be working a homicide, suicide, murder, suicide. And it scares me, because I feel like the people who are going to want to be social workers out here in the field with us are going to have the purest and kindest of hearts, and be so gentle and think that they're going to come in here and change the world. They know nothing about this world is dark, and you're very welcome that you don't know that, because we keep it hidden from you, with our job. So it's,
Christopher Dixon, your point about Chicago's trying all this and they have, the CIT officers that aren't enough. To be honest with you, I think the CIT program in theory is a great program. However, over time, it has, what happens, you have this great program, right? We have somebody that has a great ideology, or a great idea, where they're like, we're going to train cops to deal with mental health, and we're going to get them in there. And then what happens is you get, Miss Susie over here, and she has this mental thing, and she wants her mental health, kids with autism. She wants, that class. Okay. So that's great. Like, we need to know how to work with kids with autism. Now we have, Miss Karen, who runs an ADHD program, and now she wants to lump that bullshit into it, as if like we need to have an instruction or PowerPoint on how to deal with someone with ADHD. Then you got somebody that's got, transphobia issues or something like that. So now you're putting that one in. Then you have people who are suffering from post 9/11 PTSD.
Where does it end?
And so now you've got 5 days of PowerPoint dealing with all these people's issues, when the real issues at hand is like, I've never had to talk somebody out of post 9/11 PTSD. I mean, it's nonsense. And what it is it's these people that are getting paid, right? Because now her what do you call that when you have a when you get paid to have a charity, your 501c3? So they're 501c3.
What?
No,
I don't know.
They're 501c3. They're getting paid to now go over there and give this class. So they're getting a little, extra dollars. Meanwhile, all these cops are just sitting in these CIT programs, death by PowerPoint, learning absolutely nothing, while all these other little 501c3s,
and it's the department's checking a box that says, politically, mental health is important, so we better have our cops go to these things and check these boxes. And it's making no practical difference. So
CIT is absolutely worthless, because you get about, out of the 20 or 30 hours that you do the CIT training, really what you're getting is about 1 hour of legit knowledge. And that's basically coming from the practicals that you get at the end where you're literally put in a room and you go through these practical exercises. If you really want CIT to work, you do 5 days of practicals and not one single second of PowerPoint. Except maybe the PowerPoint telling you when you're going to go eat and when you're going to go home at night. And the rest is just practical exercise. Here's how you deal with an autism. Here's how you deal with schizophrenia,
It has taken, I would love nothing more than to have law enforcement be turned into almost like an ROTC type situation. It's a dream. It would never happen. But for people to need to have a 4-year degree to be a cop, to make it so prestigious to do this job and make it to where you have to put forth so much effort, but get paid to do it, ROTC style. And, I want to specialize in mentally ill people. Okay, well, I'm going to send you through a 4-year degree. And every summer you're going to go and do physical training, throw in some jujitsu in there for your physical training, firearms training throughout the year. It's to make it so prestigious that your end goal being a cop requires a 4-year degree of very specialized training. And that'll please everybody. The cops get refunded. Liberals get educated cops. Like, this is how I literally just cured.
Yeah, but then a student like me would never get to go because there's no way a college would fucking let me sit in there for 5 minutes. They'd be like, "Guy, this is a school for the learned, not retarded. You can't be here."
You'd be cut loose. You could be our Bobby Boucher. It'd be fine.
Yeah,
you can drive your lawnmower.
Yeah.
Jail sucks. It really, really sucks. Well, we're going to wrap up the show, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you want, please, we commend you to go follow Ashley Cannot Twerk. That is TWERK. It's not you like I would have thought. Ashley Cannot Twerk. If you want to follow up, and I know that she's been doing a lot of. You've been doing a lot of Q&A on your Instagram and answering questions like, hey, and ask me anything kind of thing. So maybe you'll do that again soon. Go follow her. And, if you have questions, maybe she can tell you, is there a formal way that you would want people to get a hold of you besides DMs asking about photos of your feet or what?
Yeah, find her on OnlyFans at Dirty Piggies.
Yeah, only body cams, dirty little toes, / this little piggy went in the mud. Now just send me a DM. I read every single message that's sent to me. Unless it's super hurtful, then you get blocked. So don't be a bully. But I read almost every single message, but I've been getting a whole lot of them here lately, and so it will be a while before I get back to you probably, but I will try. I'll do my best.
There you go. So guys, thank you so much for coming on, Ashley. I appreciate it.
If you're still with us, that means you love us. Head over to iTunes, give us that 5-star review. We're
man.
I don't know, we're over 12 or 1300. Trying to move up on those iTunes charts. And hammer the like button here on YouTube. That helps us out a lot. And today's our Black Fridays, all sorts of stuff going on our website. So go to failuretostop.com and grab that new 'Tis the Season to Be Lying, Kama la 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 shirt. Get you the
Man,
last.
I hate politicians.
Let's Go Brandon hoodie, or in honor of LeBron James, get the Lebron, never heard of her, which is not in reference to the basketball player, but Lebron, never heard of her, is in reference to the female soccer player.
I will do a GoFundMe for anyone that, if you get that LeBron shirt and actually get, I will find a way. I will publicly,
4 tickets?
I will reimburse you for your courtside tickets to wear that shirt at a LeBron game. If any of our fans is able to pull that off, the Wolfpack, we will do whatever it takes to raise the money to cover your expenses. Send me the receipt for the tickets and the shirts. We will reimburse you in total if you can sit down and wear that courtside at a game where LeBron's playing.
Yeah, and call him Lebron the whole game. Like, Lebron, you suck.
That's how we would sell it. Getting Pouty Girl to get kicked out wearing a LeBron shirt.
Yeah. Well, I had fun today, man. I felt like I was just in jail for 60 days. I'm sure all of our listeners are like, Jesus, we've been in jail for the last 60 days. Like, nope, it's just a 3-hour long podcast.
Nope, just a long podcast.
It's a long podcast. But no, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Somebody says Mike the Cop disagrees with Ashley. No, a 4-year degree, veteran, been in 3 use of forces in 8 years, learned how to de-escalate working corrections. It all takes compassion, drive for change, be it hook 'em or cut 'em a break. Yeah, disagree with Ashley on the 4-year degree. I've talked about useless 4-year degrees like CJ. Most police departments now, at least in Michigan, it's an associate's minimum, and now they're I would say most are wanting a 4-year degree. The problem is they don't care what the degree is, and we're not everybody, no matter what your degree is right now, gets dumped into patrol, and that's it. That's what your degree ends when you get your diploma, and it's all over. Now it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe you apply what you learned, maybe you didn't. I think what Ashley is suggesting, if I can put words in her mouth, is that we specialize in our degree in the process of the training for law enforcement as a career, that we would have, again, from the inside out, we would allow degrees to be utilized inside our law enforcement agencies to strengthen the diversity of what our function is, versus 100%. Trying to bring outside in solutions that is just like throwing money at problems. You can throw money and specialty from the outside in all you want, and it's not going to work. It has to come from the inside out.
And this is my fantasy dream that would absolutely never happen, because
Oh yeah, tell us your fantasy.
That was it. My fantasy is like, there's a video, like I've been a Mike the Cop fan since the Vine days, and he did one video of him and Daniels like shooting rainbows out of their hands. At Hug
Hey, the underpaid producer edited that.
I got sent that so many times by my whole entire shift. Shout out to my OG shift, by the way, who said, this is how you police. Like they've nailed you down 100%. So yes. So that's funny. Shout out to Adam Ball, my OG night shift partner, who I hope is super jealous watching this, because he's a big fan.
Oh,
awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Shout
Tell
out
him
to
I
him.
said hi.
Yeah.
Unless
no, I will not. I absolutely won't.
All right. Send him your arm hair pictures.
Yeah.
I already
Tell him I
did.
said thank you for my service.
Well, guys,
that
thanks
was
for
fun.
listening. We appreciate you all, Wolfpack. And if you, hopefully you guys can go, where'd Ashley go?
It's Black Friday. I'm about to go get blackout drunk.
Don't know.
Oh, that sounds intense. Ashley's gone. she left. I don't know.
There she.
Whoa. She's back.
This is bullshit.
What did you do? Did another device die? Did you have to go
No,
get a third device to come back?
It just keeps kicking me out. I'm sitting on the floor by a plug. Like, just.
Oh my gosh, you are like a criminal that I've arrested before. They're always like sitting outside the rec center with their phone plugged in. You're like, what are you doing out here at 2 a.m? Charging my phone.
Legit.
Just charging my phone,
Super
man.
legit.
All right, we've been saying goodbye for 15 minutes now. Let's do it
I hate
for real.
goodbyes.
Thank you,
I hate
Ashley.
Guns up, Gideon.
Eric's an idiot. He can't do Guns Up Giddy Up very well. Although I like that murdered out shirt you're wearing with it, though.
Dude, isn't it dope, right?
I like that. I need that one. All right.
Nice.
Or is that just the original one after you watched it a bunch of times?
No,
we got to
it's
work on our quality control.
No, it's a blacked out, subdued Guns Up, Giddy Up.
I like it. Send me
I
one.
love
will
it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Go like us and follow us wherever we're at, and we love you all.
See you.